So I was talking to somebody earlier today about whether or not Trump was going to win. I was out and about in this semi-quarantine weird purgatory that we have going on in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And this was an older person, very clearly a Trump supporter, saying, oh, no, we won. It's in the bag. It's going to be a landslide. And I was just like, you really think so? You really think you've got it? Not if that's your attitude.
Well, that's weird because you tell me this is a blue district, isn't it? It's
Yep.
very blue.
Very, very blue.
And yet you're running into Trump supporters.
It's true.
They're out
it
there.
It is.
They're
but,
there.
But, you know, I think about 2016 was supposedly not supposed to, it wasn't supposed to happen. Trump wasn't supposed to win.
Yeah.
And now he did. And now so many people are convinced he's won already. AOC just won her primary. She crushed it. The moderate Democrats were nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Actually, less moderate votes than the 2018 election with Joe Crowley.
Wow.
So I'm wondering, does that show the culture war dominates, or does it show there's a progressive lurch? In which case, why would Trump win? That means that the polls likely are accurate.
Well, I don't think she's as creepy as Biden. So
AOC?
Yeah, there's not as much stuff going against her.
Biden's way less threatening than AOC is.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
He's an old, dementia-ridden old man. It's like,
A dementia. Yeah, man. But the reason I bring this up is because I got an email this morning. And I talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
I think the literal email was like a random dude or something. Like that was actually the title of the
from random dude,
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just I'm assuming it's a guy made a really good point saying that I think I talked about it on a bunch of my other channels today. If the popular vote goes to Biden and the electoral vote goes to Trump, but one state decides to flip, then you've got both sides declaring victory.
That's a good point.
Both claiming the electoral college is theirs, and
it's a slippery thing because I'm seeing people posting about how they got their ballots, like their mail-in ballots, and there's no Republican box on any of it. It's all Democrats, no matter who you vote, wherever box it is.
But maybe that's because that was a primary ballot.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
because the primaries are
true
going on
or
right
not.
now.
Okay.
But they could that could mean that they were registered as Democrats, and they don't realize it.
Okay.
And if you're in a state with I think I don't know if they do this for the general elections. I don't know enough about each individual state.
Right.
But some states have closed primaries where you have to be a member of the party to vote in the primary.
Ah.
Some people argue that's a good reason why AOC is going to lose in November. Because it's a closed primary, meaning only registered Democrats can vote in the primary and they're activists. And that the Republican base will show up in droves because 20% of that district is Republican.
Interesting.
And that's a tiny fraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they all vote, she's out.
Yeah.
And boy, would that be a shock.
A lot
and
of
a
people are
smack in the
saying
face.
that they can't hear me.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, we did a test. Yeah, it does seem a little bit low.
It seems a little soft.
You're totally up.
Hello, testing. Can you hear me now? Is this better? Can you hear me now? Hello, I am speaking directly to you, the public.
They can't hear you at all. You're quiet.
The volume of my voice. Does it sound good now? Huh? Does it sound good?
It looks better.
We have to wait.
Tim is
30
not
seconds.
trying to silence me.
Yes, I am. That's the plan.
Tim is not trying to silence me. That is a conspiracy. Okay, everyone can hear me now. All right, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, this is a weird thing's been going on with Adam's mic, and
Yep.
we couldn't figure out what it was, and there was like a mixed balance issue, but apparently that wasn't it.
I'm gaining my voice, so someone's trying to silence me.
Yeah, that's right.
The more I'm becoming outspoken, the more
like
you're slowly turning the
No,
volume.
there's a little Joe Biden in an office somewhere listening, and he's cranking your volume down like, no, we can't have this. Tim's already gone, but Adam's not.
Yeah.
Tim's already, we got to bring him
that's
back.
funny.
Don't let people realize. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. AOC.
Yeah.
So some people, could you imagine what would happen if we went to November and she's thinking like, I won.
I got this in the bag.
Yep. Because when she won the first time,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2018, she was saying that I was elected when she wasn't even elected yet. She won the primary, meaning she's the nominee for the Democrats, but she
Right.
hasn't actually won the general election yet.
Ah.
But everyone was saying, look, it's a D plus 29 district. Of course she's going to win.
And she did.
And she did. But what happens now if the culture war really is as prominent as people think, and every single Republican in that district gets up and goes to vote because they're freaking out?
Yeah.
Could you?
I see that happening.
I don't.
You don't think so?
I just did a whole rant the other day that like blew up where I'm like, no one will do anything. They won't stand up for themselves.
I'm pretty sure they all saw the rant, Tim.
Yeah.
I think so.
So if people do get up maybe things get crazy because look, they're rioting in D.C. still.
Yeah.
Still rioting in D.C., still rioting all over the place. Maybe it gets crazy enough to where every single Republican in the district goes to vote, and that would mean most Democrats don't vote. So I think AOC got like 170,000 or something votes, something like that
in 2018.
But in the general, because they, like Nancy Pelosi says, you put a glass of water on the table with a D on it, they'll vote for it. That's what Nancy Pelosi said.
Straight up, she said that.
Yes, she did. She said in her district and in AOC's district, you could take a glass of water with a D on it, people would vote for it.
Wow.
Yep. So
that really goes to show you something
if the
about
Democrats in her district are laughing, saying we won, but every single Republican gets up and goes and votes, AOC could lose and the district could flip red, and that would be insane. Now, I normally wouldn't want to believe it, but it happened in the UK. So maybe the issue is that it's a closed primary. Republicans couldn't vote. But you go to, the general.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But anyway, we got a bunch of stories. The first one we're going to be talking about is the scenario for civil war. Ooh. And it's meant to be a far-fetched conversation.
A scenario.
Well, yeah, it's we're going to have a conversation that's going to be silly, wacky, and over the top on purpose.
Oh, good.
For fun.
I love having fun.
But we got some serious stuff. We got protesters want the arsonist in Atlanta released, demanding it. We've also got the D.C. protests and the U.S. military helicopters flying within 40 feet and like blasting them with air.
Wow.
See that? Yeah, crazy stuff.
No, I missed that. Cool.
And then we got the fake news.
Yes. The fake news that
the
everybody.
Bubba Smollett story.
Bubba Smollett.
Bubba
Yeah.
Smollett. But to be fair, I'm placing this story alongside the NYPD cops who didn't actually drink bleach, and the LAPD cop who claimed he got a tampon in his drink. Also not true.
Oh, really?
So we got this wave of hoaxes popping up.
People are just on edge.
Everybody's going nuts.
Yeah.
Everybody's trolling everybody.
I wouldn't even say trolling. I think Bubba Smollett saw the pole rope from the garage. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. It was you pull the garage down.
Yeah.
And someone must have like cut it off, and or something happened, and he panicked, overreacted without thinking. Mm-hmm. Same as the cops in New York did.
Yep.
Everybody's on edge.
Agreed.
You can make fun of these people.
No.
Think about. I'm saying like.
Tense.
I feel I'm like. It. Think about what this means for the average person right now and how high their anxiety is. They're wound up so tight, they're ready to just snap.
That's true.
So let's get started and talk about these stories. But before we do, make sure you
smash the like button.
There we go.
Yes. that's how hard I smash it. My headphones just flew off.
We're pretty sure that the reason the show is growing is because you are literally smashing the like button.
That's right. You smash the like button for me.
Well, to be fair,
appreciate you.
Right. The show started growing when we were like
smash.
There we go. Yeah.
Maybe that's all it is.
Smash.
All anyone wants to do is come in here and watch you yell smash the like button.
I mean, I'm learning how to temper the yell. Notice how I turned this way and started yelling smash.
Oh, that's good. I like
because I don't want to blow out people's eardrums. Maybe
well, you
sometimes.
can also smash the subscribe button.
Oh yeah.
And the notification bell. and
share. Yeah, sharing definitely I think is the biggest thing. You guys share it, more people see it, they talk about it. And that's really what I at least me. I want people talking. I want people being able to talk about stuff.
I gotta say, we did that episode 2 days ago because you can still tell my throat's a little scratchy.
Yeah. Calm yourself today, Tim.
Yeah.
We don't want a repeat. Some people do.
We ended up going like an hour extra.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And then we had this conversation that was really, really great. I ended up snapping off, and then I started getting hit. Everyone's hitting me up the next day.
Yep.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to say who, but like high profile conservative personalities were like, bro. Can you like come on the show? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm just like, I can't talk right now because I was yelling.
Oh, poor Tim.
So I couldn't do anything. But now all of a sudden there's like, I'm getting hit up across the board. I'm seeing people like ripping the video and stuff, and I'm like, whatever, man. I mean,
all I want to see, the they do the remix, the song. I'm waiting for the remix.
Yes.
Seriously, I've been like tuning into the internet all day. Like, where's the remix? Why? Where's the musical people that are gonna take Tim's rant and turn it into some epic? I don't got time for this kind of remix. It's gonna be
nowhere
good.
to be found. Nowhere to be found.
I'm calling you out. Whoever it is, whoever can do it.
The remix.
Maybe that should be a contest.
Let's do this. So I decided. You know what, man? We often talk about straight news, but I think speculation stuff is fun too, and I don't mean.
Oh my goodness! Please, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But
not talk about it.
No, I mean like when we talk about weird stuff and so someone sent me that email. I mentioned it, and let's just do this. Check it out. What you are seeing is the website Parlay. This is, I guess, it's the conservative refuge They banned. I guess people have been using it a whole lot. I signed up a year ago. I never really used it, but they banned Katie Hopkins. I think that's who it was, right?
Yeah. The
and then
British
all of
lady.
a sudden, everybody flooded in. And guess what? You've got a bunch of persona non grata types who have been banned from everywhere else that are active here. So Parlay is seemingly the place to be.
Yeah.
But for me, I couldn't fit 880 characters on Twitter. So I wrote this on Parlay. Check out.
I like doing this too. I like doing exclusive parlay stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, it's a blog post. You know,
Yeah.
Twitter is like I couldn't fit it.
little
All
essay.
right, go ahead.
But this was right. This was more conversational. So here's what I wrote. You ready for this? What happens at the end of this year? How does the Civil War start? Someone sent me this message, and this is what I crafted from it. November 4th, 2020. Michigan turns red, giving Trump just enough Electoral College votes to win re-election. Governor Whitmer intervenes and decides that the Electoral College votes should go to the popular vote winner. Democrats declare victory. Republicans declare victory. Both sides accuse each other of cheating. Democrats insist the state has the right to choose, and Republicans file suit. Far leftists go insane in the streets, smashing and destroying things. Republicans sit at home crossing their fingers. SCOTUS will side with them. Order breaks down completely. Trump invokes Insurrection Act to quell the violence. Democrats insist this is it. Trump is trying to take over just like we warned. Civil War 2.0. This is just an extremely pessimistic view of what could happen. Is extremely unlikely. Someone emailed me making this point, and I thought it was interesting.
Oh man, the optimism in me is like, oh, I gotta shoot this down. No, it's not gonna happen.
The reason why I
But
thought
it could actually. It's very viable.
well, so
Frighteningly so.
This is why I thought about highlighting this point is that I've heard a lot of things, a lot of talk of what starts a civil war. This made the most sense.
Absolutely.
How
it
do
does
you-
make a lot of sense.
Both sides declare victory.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of comments from people who are saying things like, I wouldn't have believed it a year ago. I wouldn't have believed it 2 years ago.
Yep.
It's 2020. Anything is possible.
Yep.
I bring you now to two stories which show me it's possible.
Oh,
First, a Democratic state senator was brutally beaten by the far left. So we'll get more in depth into this, but I want to highlight the fact that the violence has reached a point where elected officials are being beaten in the street.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, you can talk about Antifa and the Proud Boys and like, who cares? It's someone throwing a brick through a window. Oh, it's some dude stealing from a storefront. No, this was a Democratic state senator who was out and seeing these riots, tried to take a picture, a film, a video, and they ran up and started beating the crap out of him. He locked himself in his office, I guess. So that's where we're at right now. They tore down a statue of an abolitionist. It is well beyond anything making sense.
Yeah, they don't make any sense.
An
They see a statue and they're like, we gotta bring it down.
Yep. Even if it was their side, they're just literally. It's like the far left is a fire.
Yeah, it's proving that it has nothing to do with any sort of, message they're trying to put across. They're just trying to burn the system down.
The people themselves are the fire.
Yep.
They're just whatever they can grab onto and destroy gets destroyed. It's like it's a zombie horde, man.
Yeah,
They're going around just
basically.
beating and biting and stomping. So we'll come back to this later, but I wanted to highlight this because this shows the level of violence
Yeah.
where
We're already at.
Democrats. What would have happened?
And it's the end of June.
What do you think would have happened if that was a Republican?
I don't know.
And the mob came up and started punching and striking him?
He'd be dead.
Who would be dead?
How would they know,
Would.
though?
No. The Republican wouldn't be dead.
No? Oh, he'd fight back, you think?
No.
You don't think they'd beat
The-
him harder?
I think the protesters would be dead.
You don't.
I think the
He'd fight
Republican
back.
would be wearing a
Yeah.
cowboy hat and
Yeah,
he'd be
yeah.
like, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, he'd fight back.
Fight back is one way of putting it.
Yes, that's a nice
So
way to
I
put
don't
it.
look. Would a Wisconsin Republican, have a sidearm, or I don't even know what the legality is in Wisconsin.
I don't either.
I just think you're substantially more likely to see a Republican armed for a lot of reasons. I'm also surprised this guy didn't have armed security. Democrats love doing that, especially in the Midwest. Now it's not Chicago, but in Chicago.
I'm sure they're gonna wisen up now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nancy Pelosi's probably like, wait a minute.
Oh, dude.
That's not what we contracted those people to do.
She's got armed guards. They all do. They tell you can't. That's one thing that's always bothered me in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's something my dad used to say, and we're like Chicago liberals. He'd be like, it's pretty funny. They'll tell you can't have a gun, but then they can carry around theirs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think in Chicago the aldermen are legally allowed to carry too.
Really?
I could be wrong about that. This is a long time ago. I was a kid. But anyway, this is just to showcase the violence, right? State senator attacked by protesters as demonstrations turned by protesters.
Demonstrations.
Dude, it is a mob
Those
beating
aren't
a politician.
protesters. Those aren't protesters.
Those are rioters.
There's a-
I know.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even
There's protesters, and then there's like rioters that are taking over and burning stuff down.
Yeah.
Those people aren't the protesters that are protesting legitimately.
Right.
There's a huge difference.
These
Stop
people-
clumping them up, news. What are you doing?
That's what they do.
Yep.
But that brings me to the next bit,
Oh.
which should be the worrying part of all of this.
Yeah.
Could it be that some state, now Michigan was maybe the wrong choice. I chose Michigan because Governor Whitmer is very awful.
Well, aren't they
say
trying
the
to
least.
boot her? Isn't
Oh,
there,
yeah.
Isn't there like...
There's recall petitions in a ton of
Yeah,
places.
yeah.
Check this out. What you are seeing is the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. Have you heard of this?
I have not, no.
You have heard of this?
I have. We've talked about it.
Oh, I've talked about this a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the general idea. A bunch of, for the most part, blue states believe that the popular vote winner should be the president. But the current system is that the states choose their electorates and then the electoral votes go to whoever, right?
Okay.
Here's their plan. Instead of abolishing the Electoral College, we all agree that if we have 270 votes between our pact, then we all give our votes to the popular vote winner, regardless of what the states vote for. It is one of the stupidest ideas I have ever heard. These people clearly have not thought things through. You know why?
How come?
Right now, California has 55 electoral votes.
Okay.
When will it ever give those to a Republican? Never. You know why? Because it is what, 65 to 70% blue. I think it's 70% blue.
Hugely. Yeah.
Meaning right now, on its own, it will always be blue.
Good point.
They decided to do this National Popular Vote Compact because they think the Republicans can never win the popular vote. Could you imagine what would happen in the streets of California if Donald Trump won the popular vote and California went, we have to give it to Trump now?
Oh, man.
2024.
Yeah.
They get all the electoral votes. They have enough states now. So they have 270 votes. It's guaranteed. And they're all laughing, saying, no, we will always have Democrats. And then Trump Jr. wins. And then California goes, I know that 75% of you voted for, Swalwell.
Yeah.
Cheat election. Cheat an election. But because of this compact, we've got to give all of those votes to Trump Jr. now. There's nothing to make California give Republicans votes. The only thing this does is it is create the possibility that blue states, solid blue states, will give their votes to a Republican. It's the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But they're thinking that they can win once they get the popular vote. It'll never go Republican again. That's wrong. It's insane. Because Republicans could certainly just alter parts of their platform.
That's a good point.
But here's the bigger point. Right now, they have 196 electoral votes guaranteed in the compact. They need 120, and these are pending, meaning we're really close to them getting this.
Wow.
However, let me read this for you. They say the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact is an agreement among a group of U.S. states and D.C. to award all their electoral votes to whichever presidential candidate wins the overall popular vote in the 50 states and the District of Columbia. The compact is designed to ensure that the candidate who receives the most votes nationwide is elected president, and it would come into effect only when it would guarantee that outcome. And that's the main point. What if November 3rd, everybody goes and votes?
Yeah.
November 4th, Moody's Analytics, this is pre-pandemic, mind you, said that with maximum historical turnout, Democrats win by only a few electoral votes. And that with normal turnout, Trump will win heftily, to say the least.
Yeah.
Let's say because of COVID, it becomes very, very close. And because of mail-in voting, turnout is really high. But the Democrats come shy of about 30 votes. So California says, but because we signed this compact, if we give our votes to the national popular vote winner, it would guarantee the outcome, like it says.
Yeah, but that feels awful lot like California's just picking who the president is instead of the people.
Well, but they don't know who's going to win.
System.
They don't know who's going to win the popular vote.
Oh, they wouldn't.
They see it and then say, if we switch, then Democrats win. Okay.
Well, they can't enact it unless it guarantees the outcome. So they have to at least there's a check to see.
So let's
they
say
would know.
So let's say when it comes to election night,
okay,
everyone votes, and California sees that if they give their electoral votes to the popular vote winner, it will guarantee the outcome.
That's exactly what it sounds like. California's picking the president, not the American public.
But it could be Georgia, it could be Illinois, it could be New York. I'm just using them as an example.
Well, any of those examples I don't like because again, it's putting it on one state to make the choice.
Right.
That's not okay for me.
Any one of these states could arguably be like, well, our state chooses otherwise. The Supreme Court's apparently going to rule on what's called a faithless elector. Someone on an electoral vote who decides to vote a different direction. You're not supposed to do that, apparently. So I don't think what they're saying here actually strikes at the heart of what the compact is. The compact is supposed to be that if you can guarantee 270, then you all give your votes to the popular vote. How much you want to bet after everything the Democrats have done with every scandal? They're not trying to. They're going back to the China thing. That China that
really
Trump.
trying.
Yep, they're trying. It's ridiculous.
They really think that Trump's working with China.
No, they're lying.
I know, but it's like, that's ridiculous. He's like the most outspoken anti-China everything.
Yeah.
Like, we got to bring it back to us. Like, how is that? Oh my gosh.
So think about it, man.
That's so silly.
Doesn't it seem plausible that one of these states will just be like, because of the NPVIC, we are going to give our votes to Joe Biden, and then all the Republicans will say, no, we won the Electoral College.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, California already gives its votes to the Democrat. That's a bad example.
Right.
A better example is a swing state like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, or Michigan. That's why I use Michigan in the first place. Let's say Michigan goes red, but then they say, yeah, but Biden won the popular vote, so we should give our electoral votes to him. It's the will of the people.
Good song.
Yeah, good song. Then Donald Trump and the Republicans say, no, we won fair and square. The people have spoken.
Yeah.
Then they start arguing 11% of the population should not elect a president. And then both sides say they're winners. Then what? You know what I think?
Boogaloo 2, baby.
Every single police officer in every major city will with a smile and a handshake, break the Constitution, enforce unconstitutional edict.
For who?
For the governors.
So whatever the government, whether the governor is Democrat, they'll go for whatever they're saying.
I
or
think
Republican, they'll do whatever.
I think in big cities, the cops will just do whatever they're told, even if it violates the Constitution. I 100% believe that. We already saw it happen. When COVID happened, look, when they tried enacting the gun control stuff in Virginia, what did the sheriff say? Nope.
Not going to do it.
Never going to do it.
Yeah.
And we've seen stuff, I think it was like in Oregon too.
Yeah, there were a few places that's happened.
The small town cops and sheriffs are like, never going to happen. You can't make me do it.
Yeah.
But the big city cops, like a few miles from here with that gym, the cops, the smile on their face, walk up and say, how's it going, ma'am? Oh, that Constitution? I lit it on fire a long time ago. Now you're under arrest. I did a southern accent for New Jersey.
I don't know. That was weird.
Well,
Yeah, no.
it is South Jersey.
That's true.
Does that count?
They talk more like this. Hey, you don't get no constitutional rights here. Get out of here. Is
That's
That's
Long
better.
Island.
it Long Island?
That's New York. That was more New York.
I have no idea what
North
people
Jersey,
in New Jersey talk like.
it's the same, actually.
It's the same.
It's all
Yeah,
the same.
So what happens if it comes to this? I think the conservatives and moderates have proven they're unwilling to fight at all. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting back. Some of them are paying attention. Like, people like you guys watching for the most part pay attention. That's why I did their rant, the other day.
Yep.
But I was mentioning, I had a conversation today with a very ardent Trump supporter who was just like, we're going to win. It's fine. We're going to win.
I hate
And I'm
that.
like, you really think so? I was like, I don't know. AOC just won her primary, like
attention there?
landslide. No, we're going to win. And I'm like, they're burning down buildings and tearing down the founding fathers.
I mean,
No one's doing anything about
she
it.
was going against a Republican today or yesterday or another Democrat for the spot.
Centrist Democrat.
So that's not really the same thing. It's like, just because she won just means that there's Democrats that prefer her over the other Democrat. That's not saying much.
These are the activist Democrats too. The
Right.
ones who are willing to go to a primary.
Yeah, exactly.
The issue is, I don't know, man. If the Democratic voter base that is not activist is unwilling to vote in a primary, why would they vote against her in general? If they're not paying attention, they're not paying attention.
But that's not the point that I was making, though. They're not going up against the Republicans, or they weren't yesterday, but they will be. So
Yeah.
the Republicans that do show up and vote, all these activist Democrats are going up against that group, and that's a much bigger group. So AOC, it's not going to be as easy to win. She's
know,
probably
man.
awfully comfortable. I'm just making that point, though. That's who she's going up against.
79% of that district is swings Democrat. So can the other group, which is not entirely Republican, it's also somewhat independent,
Who knows?
will they get up and vote against her? My point is, if she has that level of Democrat, when it comes time to vote, I really don't see Republicans getting up and voting. In New York 14, they don't care.
Yeah,
They're not going to do anything. The Republican in 2018 didn't even have a website, apparently.
really.
Yeah, they don't even bother. It's like, listen, man, I can understand you think it's a foregone conclusion or whatever. But if you aren't even running, why would anyone vote for you?
That's a good
So
point.
you wonder why NY14 is D plus 29. Well, maybe it would be D plus 10 if actual Republicans voted and actually talked to the community.
Yeah.
But there's in so many of these places, no one wants to invest any money or time or energy explaining very simple things. And the funny thing is, a lot of these people in the city are very religious, especially in this area, which is very Latino.
Yeah.
A lot of abuelitas, Christian, Catholic, or otherwise.
Well, I mean, the left is basically burning down, trying to burn down Jesus now. So it's like maybe they might come around.
So this attack that happened, this is the crazy thing. Check this out in Madison.
Okay.
It started over a dude who went to a restaurant with a megaphone and a baseball bat and was screaming about how Jesus was stolen. He was originally Horus from Egypt, and that the white
Okay.
man stole it. He's technically
wow.
not wrong.
Yeah, lots of Christianity comes from paganism, Egyptian,
All
like
religions,
everything.
actually.
Yeah,
there's
all
shared mythos.
Right, exactly.
And so some people argue it's because all these different religions are viewing the truth through a different lens at a different angle.
Okay.
This man happened to argue that,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's like, if you're in different parts of the world, you're seeing a similar thing, but you're looking at a different way. So you see different things that not everyone sees.
Right, right.
So this guy was claiming that the white man or whatever stole Jesus. He's not white. There it is. I mean, Sean King said it. Then a guy shows up with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Then they arrest him, and then a riot breaks out.
So messed up. It's like everyone can have a God, and everyone, like, your relationship with God is your own. I'm not the most religious person, but it's like if I imagine whatever my God would be, it doesn't have to be the same as yours.
But I'm not even concerned about.
So same with Jesus. It's like if you think you have a relationship with him, whoever it is, whatever it is, you choose what that is. It's like, man, all I see is just hate. People just hating, trying to throw shade everywhere, anywhere they can.
I don't think the issue so much is the religion, is the fact that Sean King said Jesus was not white, burn it down.
Yep.
And then a day later, a guy shows up with a megaphone and a baseball bat screaming Jesus wasn't white.
Yeah,
he was Horus.
He put that idea in everyone's head. It's like, what are
Then
you doing?
Then the cops come in, they're like, yo, you can't megaphone inside a restaurant with a baseball bat.
You're right.
And when they arrested him, 200 rioters showed up. You know what these rioters did?
What?
They went into a private condo and were romping about. They surrounded like a tow vehicle. Hey, man, listen. You want to talk about what might happen? Fine. I think it's. I don't want there to be any kind of escalation. I want things to be normal again.
Yeah.
It was fun when we were just talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and Birds of Prey, and then all of a sudden everything went nuts.
Oh, I miss making fun of Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it was
I'd
fun.
I'd watch it again just to make fun of it.
Oh man.
Should we for
No.
old
No,
times?
never again.
But listen, man, they're going in private homes.
Yeah, that's
They're
messed up.
beating up Democratic politicians.
I mean, they should be worried. There's a lot of guns now, everywhere. A lot of people got guns this year.
I just got a bunch of guns today.
Yeah.
Finally.
I was wondering if you were gonna
Totally.
say it or not.
Oh yeah, a bunch.
Lots of
We're putting
guns.
them together.
And so now, I was talking to some of these guys at the gun shop, and I was like, 6 months ago, I said, I don't want any guns in my house. I do not want guns. Even after someone tried breaking in, I was like, you know what? I've thought about it. We got local cops. They're good dudes. They've helped us out. They were here in a minute. I don't think I want guns in this house. And now then COVID happened, and I was like, And then nationwide riots, and we could hear the helicopters, and I was
Yeah.
like, 1 gun, please.
One.
4 gun, please. 5, 6,
26.
12. I'm still waiting for the SIG from Crowder.
Yeah, yeah.
But apparently what they were telling me is that the suppliers are all dried up.
Oh, really?
The manufacturers are sold out.
Not
And
surprising.
so the shops are all getting cleaned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This one shop, the shelves are pretty empty.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they have squirt guns.
Yeah, I was calling it.
They have squirt guns instead.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I went in there and I was like, Steven Crowder recommended a gun. They were like, don't got it. And I was like, really? What do you have? And then they showed me what they got, and then I bought a bunch of guns.
I'll take one of everything, please.
Pretty much.
This
yeah.
is what I think, a lot of these progressives don't understand when they're saying, like, Joe Biden can win. I'm like, I was asking some of the guys, I was like, what do you think it means that stores like this are selling out? Like, they're struggling to get inventory. Guns are going nuts. First-time buyers are through the roof.
Yeah.
What do you think that means is going to happen in November? Trump's going to landslide.
I think a lot of people, everyone says it's, you take the red pill, and it's like, that's not necessarily going Republican. That's just opening your eyes to the truth. And I don't even, honestly, Trump isn't necessarily Republican. He's
No,
not.
he's not.
He's not a classic Republican. It's interesting, when
When
you
you- when-
really look at it all.
The New York Times actually did an analysis of the party's manifestos, like their party lines and the words they use.
Okay.
And under Donald Trump, since 2012, he pulled the party ever so slightly to the left.
Nice.
And Vox said that Trump ran as a moderate. Now, Trump certainly does adopt a lot of the traditional Republican positions.
Yeah.
But he is, I mean, come on, man. He's the first president to support gay marriage before entering office. Not even Obama did that.
That's true.
So Trump is slightly to the left.
Yeah.
The problem is the left has gone so far left, they think Trump is far right.
Yeah. So all these people that are buying guns, they might not be Republican, but
They're being
they're certainly moving away from this crazy left that is running rampant through our country right now.
It reminds me of this skate video with Rodney Mullen. And they have this cart with a flat steel top, and they
Okay.
push it towards him.
Oh yeah, and he stays in the same spot. I know
Yeah,
this video.
so Rodney Mullen is pro skateboarder. He ollies stationary, and then does what is, I guess, simply called a wheelie, but the platform is moving underneath him, and he's staying in the same place.
It's a cool video.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then I think he flips out
He
of
does
it.
a lot of different tricks. It's
So-
not just the one trick.
Right.
Yeah.
This
cool.
That image in my mind is exactly how it feels. Here comes the Democratic Party, and you're just staying right where you are, and now you're off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you look at Donald Trump's,
And then in comes Trump. He's like, "Hey, I got you.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm kind of in the middle."
yeah.
Yeah. That's
He
what
is kind
that's
of in
what
the
I think. He's pulling a lot of people. I mean, hey, I'm not a Republican.
yeah, look at Adam.
Look at me. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. I have a lot of things that I agree
But-
with both sides, and I disagree with both sides. But I'm definitely in the middle.
This is what I was thinking the other day when I did that rant. It's like, I'm talking to these dudes today who are basically like, Trump's going to win. I'm not worried about it. And I'm like, if you've been sitting back while they've been tearing down statues,
Right.
thinking, well, I'll vote November.
Yeah.
You know, look, man, Trump wins. The left goes insane. They burn everything to the ground. And you sit there saying, well, in 4 years, I'll vote for Trump Jr.
Well, I was thinking about that. It's like, what can people do? A lot of people have asked me since the other day. They were like, Tim's yelling at me because I'm not doing anything. But
What am I supposed to
what,
do?
Yelling at you.
What can
Yeah.
I do? What can I do, Tim? Like, some of them were getting upset at you. Like, I saw a lot of
I said it.
examples of people quitting their jobs. They did quit.
No,
they
but
they
listen.
lost their income and are searching for new jobs because they're fed up with it. So like, what do those people do? Do they go out and stand in front of the statues, jobless?
No.
Or do they worry about where they're going to get income and focus on getting a job, which is what you'd think an average person would focus on, instead of putting themselves in harm's way when they aren't even stable themselves anymore, because they made that choice.
The price of freedom is high.
It's a good point.
It's very high. And it's a price I'm willing to pay.
Down by the river, Tim?
And if I'm the only one, so be it. But I'm willing to bet that I'm not.
But you were going down by the river.
I was just quoting Chris
That
Evans
was
from
Chris
Captain
I know,
America.
but I'm calling you out.
Well,
What?
No, you were saying it's like you'd go down by the river if things got heated.
And anyone else could too.
That's true, but that's
So-
the same thing as just letting people burn the statues down.
The interesting thing, no. Like I'm talking about when you lose
Mm-hmm.
and you've lost everything and there's nothing left. Go build a little mud hut down by the river. Now, what's funny to me is the people who have said, but Tim, I've got a family. It's so much easier for you to say. And I'm
Right.
like, no.
We were talking about
no,
that.
No, that's not true. That's
Yeah.
backwards. It's easier for you to say. You have kids? It's so much easier for you to say that you'd be willing to sacrifice everything for your children than for me.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, at least yet. So I'm not necessarily scared for what the future holds for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you have kids, it's even it's easier for you to say,
scare
I
you
will
to
do
death.
everything in my power to ensure a future for my children. You want to know something interesting? We got baby birds out in the backyard in the deck.
Little
and,
babies.
And you want to know something funny? You want something funny? We let Buku out in the deck. Okay, he's the kitty,
Yeah.
and he lurks and he walks over. And he walks over to where the nest is at, just underneath the panel because they're on one of the beams. And and then the robin parent jumps out and starts screaming, knowing it's going to die because a cat will kill it.
It's true.
And it jumps up screaming, you will not hurt my children. And then the craziest thing happened. This is a true story. Happened like last week. Little tiny birds, I have no idea what they were, started swooping at me. And I was like,
Dive
what
bombing
is this?
us.
Birds are coming after me, dude. And the kitty's sitting on the ground looking up like getting ready to pounce. And I'm like, no, we're going to get out
Go
of here.
inside.
Leave the babies alone. The good news is the baby robins survived.
They left the
They grew up
nest.
and they left the nest.
Oh, they're gone?
So
They're gone.
fast.
Nice.
But I saw that and it's like these birds know that it landed on the deck on the post in the corner
Yep.
with our cat sitting
Just screeching.
screeching going wah, wah, wah. And I'm like,
Careful, Tim.
no, that was
I know you
fine.
got to conserve your voice, man.
But I'm inspired by that, man.
yeah.
That what's the difference between that little bird that has no power whatsoever to stop a human being in the cat willing to challenge us to a fight. I laughed and I looked at Bucko and I was like, that little bird thinks he can take us. He's no match for a kitty and his human ally. And it's true.
Yeah.
Yet he was willing to sacrifice everything for his children.
Well, a lot of people forget that we are animals.
We are a part of this ecosystem.
We're animals.
We have very similar thought patterns and desires and drives.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, man, those robins haven't lost the perseverance, the
what it
strength,
takes to live.
Yeah.
the survival instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So get it. I
Survival
get it.
of the
Listen,
fittest. Yeah.
I think something has happened where people are now conflating being able to buy a loaf of bread for your kids with actually providing for your kids.
You're
Now,
absolutely right.
I get it. I don't have kids. I know.
Survival of the fittest almost doesn't exist anymore. It's survival of who has the most money.
But think
It's
about
not
this.
the same thing.
What if your children and your wife, what if you had no access to a city? What if you had to be a real provider going out and hunting a wild boar?
Yep.
Living in a, it's like you have
That's what I've
everything.
been talking about.
So
People
it's not-
don't understand what they actually have in this world.
It's not so much about you saying I could lose my job and can't feed my family. It's you saying we live in such luxury, I don't want to risk it. I don't want to actually go back to the days where a boat landed on the shores of North America and they got off the boat and they were like, bunch of trees. We're home, guys. And then they jumped off the boat and were like, set up a camp and there was no food. That's crazy, man. That mentality is gone. That's the mentality of that little bird saying like, I will mess you up. Even if it means I die, you will not touch my babies. Now it's like these people are saying, I understand you want to plague the minds of my babies. That's okay. That's okay. As long as we can have pizza on the weekends.
You know, it's interesting you're saying that because I've been thinking, I mean, we talk about this all the time, just society and, where we're at nowadays. And I kind of started talking about, the loss of the masculine male, and like traditional, families. And when you look at animals, any animal, the alpha male is the one that procreates the most.
Right.
That survives. That's why we're still here, because alpha males have been fighting and conquering and technology and like boom, now we're here. And that doesn't exist anymore. We don't need the alpha male. So the alpha male is going away, and look what's happening. Look what
A bunch of male
society's
feminists,
turning into.
rapists.
Well, I mean, sure. So,
Yeah, that
but
too.
but it's not that. It's society is coddling all of us.
Yeah.
We are all losing that because society has let us be comfortable. So it's society's fault as a whole that we are so comfortable that we're losing the need to have an alpha male, that to someone that's gonna maintain that survivability. Now it's all medicines. Now we just medicines make us live longer. Oh, I can pay for that. Oh, I got cancer, but I could just pay for that if I have enough money.
On Steven Crowder's website, they posted my rant.
Oh, did they? Nice.
Yeah. And in the comment section, because Steven actually hit me up. He was like, hey, we're going to give you some traffic. Just want to let you know your rant was awesome. Appreciate it. And I was like, cool, man. Thanks, Ryder. And so I went and checked it out. And I saw the comments. And someone mentioned that it's easy for Tim to say, but we have kids and we got to put food on the table.
Right.
And one of the responses, because you can go check this out, I think it's still there, was something like, we raised our kids totally normally. They went to college in Oregon, and now they've gone insane and disowned us for supporting Trump.
Wow.
And so it's like, you want to talk about doing everything right and giving your kids the food they need, and then they get indoctrinated and their brains get twisted into jelly.
Yep.
And you could have stood up and stopped it, but you were happier just making sure they had pizza on the table. That they had their mashed potatoes and gravy and their steak. And those are all really important things, and I can respect that.
Yeah, food, sure.
But we're facing a cultural crisis right now where our founding fathers are being torn from their base.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about, because people have tried arguing about slave owners, right? So at first they started going after the Confederate statues, and they're like, why are we honoring traitors anyway? And I'm like, I gotta be honest. I would vote in favor of taking the Confederate statues down, putting them in a museum, and putting up a plaque. I think it'd be awesome to have a museum showing all the statues.
Right.
That'd be
That's
really
a good
great.
point. This is our history.
And that's my opinion. And then you put a plaque in this space that says like, this was once home to the statue of so and so. On this date at this time, we decided that we would put aside these symbols for these reasons. And I think it'd be cool. But then they started going after the founding fathers, and the argument was slavery. And I said, well, there's no I will absolutely and always condemn the past, the failures of humanity, especially with slavery, and even today. The founding fathers created something truly great. So I think you're missing the point here.
Yeah.
Now they're getting rid of abolitionists. Now they're announcing they're going to tear down Lincoln.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right, and it never will. And
Right.
so you give them an inch and they take everything from you. And so these people who think, I can just sit back and say, well, as long as my kids have food, I'll be okay. No, it won't. They will come to your house like they did in Madison, where they went to this private condos. They will find your politicians and beat them. And then eventually your kids are going to be sitting there. Man, these photos are so sad. You have this like normal looking teenage girl with a smile on her face, wearing regular clothes, jeans and a t-shirt. And the next photo is like 2 years after college, and she's got this angry scowl on her face. One eye is like bigger than the other, and her head's shaved.
Are you talking about de Blasio's daughter?
Yeah, that's
Not
what
specifically.
I'm seeing.
No, but that's a great example.
Have you seen? Have you seen how they also do these weird snarl faces?
Yeah, I don't get
It's
that
like
either.
they have lost their minds.
Yeah.
And so you think your children are safe? You think you're saving your children by doing this? I'm sorry, man. I don't agree.
Do you think every kid that goes to high school or college is going through that and ending up like that?
No, of course not.
Well, what do you think the percentage is then?
I think it's really small, actually.
A small percentage.
Very small.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Because I've
it is
actually
a minority, another minority group then that they're just reeing the loudest then.
and the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Okay.
Yep.
And as we learned from South Park and from history, the
Mm-hmm.
people who threaten the violence for some reason,
It
everyone
works.
bends the knees to them, and then they get what they want. And that's what we're trying to stop. We want the rule of law back. We want people to be able to live and for the system to function properly, for
Well,
people to have a real chance.
I think the people that aren't like that don't want violence and are trying to not be violent,
Yep.
but are 100% willing to be violent when it finally comes to their doorstep.
I disagree.
It's not at their doorstep yet, Tim.
Look at the guy. Look at the guy at the Macy's.
Okay.
You saw that video?
Okay. All this one example. It's like that one person. I'm not going to let that one person
All right.
influence what I feel
They
about.
went into
whole,
a private condominium
Sure.
and romped about, and no one did anything about it, and they beat the crap out of a politician.
Okay.
So,
Was he armed? No.
No.
Did they meet someone who was armed? No.
and I think Madison is Republican, isn't it?
I don't know. I
don't
can look
know.
it up though.
So I agree with you for the most part,
Yeah, sure. We're not seeing that yet. You know.
but I think people are going to lock their doors and they're going to say, "Please leave me alone." I think that's what's going to happen.
And when they break down the door,
It's too late. It's too late at that point.
no, they're going to get shot.
I don't think so.
What are you going to do when someone tries to break in?
That's different.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
How?
I'm not the average person who's cowering. I'm the person who actually stood up and said, "Tear up my contract right now."
Yeah, but they're tearing down the statues right now. They're doing. It's not you. It's the whole country now.
What I'm saying is, I'd be willing to bet, in many areas, many rural areas, you will get a shotgun blast in the face if you even walk in their house. There's a video of a guy who drove down the wrong driveway. I don't know, do you see this
Yeah,
one?
I saw that.
And the guy's like, he shot at his car.
Yep.
Like some people, man, I hear you. But in the suburbs,
But that's the beginning. We're not seeing it yet. This is the beginning, dude. Wisconsin is blue. Illinois is blue.
I think
Madison's blue.
right, but I think is Madison blue?
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Probably, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned, because I'm not super familiar with it, but they'll probably mention whether. I'll see you guys in the chat. But
Madison is very liberal. Yeah,
It
everyone's
is.
saying, yeah, the chat's
Yeah, it's giving me a
Pretty
bunch of
uniform.
Stats. I can't figure it out.
well, check this out. When it comes time, I do not believe you will see random Antifa roaming the suburbs. I believe you will see people who are in the armed forces or police department. And what's someone going to do when a cop shows up? Like, you got to look at what happened in Venezuela, Cuba, the Soviet Union.
okay.
You did have, in history, in the Spanish Civil War, you did have factions fighting each other in the streets. But what I think is a really, I don't want to act like it's super likely, because who knows what's going to happen. It's easy to make claims. It's hard to know for sure.
I want to know what to do though. Saying that
Listen, here's the point I'm making.
price of freedom is high is not an answer. Like what do people do? What can they do right now?
Protest
So
peacefully, law-abiding,
peacefully
peaceful
go
protests.
out and protest.
Link arms guarding statues. Don't bring weapons. And then when the video cameras start rolling and it shows, a middle-aged Latino mom saying, "Please stop," being beaten by Antifa, that might suck for that woman for sure. Because I've been in that situation. What do you think people and look what happened when Andy No got beaten by Antifa?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
That was a nightmare scenario for the far left. a gay Vietnamese child of immigrants was brutally beaten in the streets while he couldn't even fight back.
Yeah.
And everyone turned. They tried smearing him, they tried slamming him, but boy, it was not working. It was a bad show for them.
Well, that happened in Chaz like 3 days ago. It was, not as
it's
prominent as Andy No, but it was a Japanese reporter.
Yep.
He was for Black Lives Matter, going in to show how peaceful it was, and they beat him up.
They beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, they did. It's like,
But then he came out still in
And?
favor of them. And he wasn't American.
how?
Because it's a cult, man. But listen,
No, I know actually why. Because that's what I said earlier. There's a difference between the people who are peacefully protesting and the people who are not there, that are trying to take a hold of it and steer it down a different street.
it's about power.
Exactly. Yep.
Here's what I see happening. If you get a bunch of regular people, middle-aged men and women, and they show up around a Columbus statue and they link arms, and that's it. The statue will not come down. The statue will not come down. But no one will do that. It's a peaceful assembly. It's law-abiding.
Yep.
And then the issue for these local politicians like Cuomo is that they're looking at what's happening, and they see large, loud, angry activist base destroying things, and no one else cares. So they say, hey, look, if the only people who care are the ones burning everything to the ground,
I guess this is what it is.
that's who's going to vote for me. So I'll give them what they want. So that's all you got to do. And guess what? These people are violent. These people may bring weapons. You might get hit, but you have to be peaceful, and it works. And the left will tell you it doesn't, because they're wrong. They're 100% wrong. They've weaponized victimhood to an extreme degree. They know exactly why peaceful protest works.
Yep, it's true.
They know that when the video comes out of the cop dragging the protester away, they win sympathy. That's what they've been doing the entire time. This is what I've been telling people is, when you look at to the extreme right, it's a high intensity extreme moment where one person commits an atrocity and it shocks and terrifies everyone. What Antifa and far leftists do is low grade terrorism, where they'll hit you one time and no one cares that it happened.
Yeah.
But then when you fight back, they cower and shake and go, oh. And then when the cops move in to make arrests, they're going, help, help. And then the videos come out and they go, look what's happening to us. We're being repressed.
I think that's what Chaz was. I think Chaz was a big ploy to try to get Trump to bring in the army,
And they would
shut him down, and they would have been like, this is what we're talking about.
And the mayor would have said,
boom.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
The mayor was like, it was our summer of love. What was Trump
Yep.
doing?
But people were getting shot, and they can't handle it anymore.
Trump didn't take the bait.
So they took Chaz down. The mayor asked them, and they were like
dude.
going around like, all right, we're going to peacefully leave. Thanks, everybody.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
After 4 shootings.
It's just like,
So
really?
You want to know what you need to do is, I don't think, I wasn't telling people, and I hope people realize this, just to arbitrarily be like, I quit for no reason.
Right. No,
But to actively protest if they made you do something you didn't want to do. If they were like, we want you to wear this, this symbol on your vest.
Oh,
I'd
no,
be
that's
like,
basically what it was.
right.
Like, you have to conform. And
Yeah,
they're
I'd
like,
say no.
no, I'm not doing that. And then they got fired.
And then when you hear, like right now, we're hearing that they're going to go tear down the statue of Lincoln. Where is that? Is that in D.C.?
No, I don't know, but
Boston?
I know that there's this whole Antifa flag burning ceremony that's supposed to happen July 4th in Gettysburg. So
Oh wow.
that's
Really?
not very far from here.
Maybe we should go there and do a live show
Yeah,
from the
that'd be fun.
flag burning.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Do
I don't
it.
think they would like seeing either of us there. I think you and I both are a target to them.
So who, the people want to burn Antifa flags?
No. Antifa
Oh,
is
of
showing up
course.
to burn American flags. Tim.
No.
You want to still want to go?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No, that's not my game.
No.
I thought you meant that the right was going to burn Antifa flags.
No.
Heck yeah, let's
They're
go.
meeting in
Listen.
Gettysburg because that's one of the largest battles that we
Yep.
fought for this country. And
Oh,
it's
they
like
do know something about history. How nice.
they know a little something,
Yeah.
That's
right?
really
Surface
nice
level
of them.
nonsense.
And July 4th, it's a pretty big day
yeah.
for us. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know about that.
I'm excited for 4th of July. But look, I'll say it one more time just because I really want to drive it home.
Yeah,
All it takes is for you to show up, no shields, no weapons, no helmets, nothing, and link arms. And you know what might happen? You will get Andy Node.
Yep.
They will throw
It's
milkshakes
gonna
in your
hurt.
face. They will punch you. You'll be left bleeding. And then the entire media will be like, why were these local residents begging these extremists to stop being brutally beaten while they didn't fight back?
yep.
This is what people don't understand about perception. There's this famous comic that goes around, and it shows a circle, and in it you see what looks like a hand and a knife and a person being shocked like they're about to be stabbed.
Okay.
And then the bigger picture is a camera, and it's actually the knife. It's like the knife is actually the foot of the person running away, and the person shocked is the person actually reaching to stab them. Meaning the framing of the camera changed what you thought was happening.
Framing's everything.
Yeah.
Certainly learned that in the past couple months.
So peaceful protests work 100%.
Yeah.
They absolutely do work because you stay within the confines of what's morally acceptable and you become the victim. And this is why this one dude got fired from his job. They say this researcher tweeted out from an African-American social psychology professor, I guess, or whatever it says. I don't know what his position was, that peaceful protests result in a 2-point swing and violent riots result in a 2-point drop for the party. So like, they were specifically talking about Democrats versus Republicans.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I had a burp. When peaceful protests happen, positive coverage emerges, and then the party that's peacefully protesting gets a ton of attention, talks about their issues, and they win over supporters. When the group gets violent and destroys things, it swings in the other way because they're the bad guys now.
Yep.
So it's possible that Antifa has lost a ton of favor because of the violent riots, but the media covered for them the whole time, saying peaceful protesters, they blamed the police for it.
Right.
So,
even here, like look at this article. Wisconsin state senator attacked by protesters
seriously,
as
That's
demonstrations
framing.
in Madison turned violent. No, they showed up to riot because they were pissed that someone rightfully got arrested for what he didn't get killed. He was arrested.
right. And they rioted and
That's
destroyed
it.
things.
He was threatening people with a bat on a private in a private restaurant. Like, and they told him no.
Yep.
And he said, "You can't stop me. I've got a bat. I'll try to stop me. I dare you." It's like, okay, so now
What do
he's
you-
threatening people. They arrest him. What do you
think
think's
would-
going to happen?
What do you think would happen if 50, 70-year-old little grannies linked arms around a statue?
They'd be the bossest humans I've ever seen.
I'd be willing to
Yeah.
bet Antifa wouldn't go anywhere near them and say anything at all because they know
How that looks.
somebody might. They've attacked old people in the past.
Yeah.
But could you imagine the cameras rolling and the granny brigade with like fresh cookies and little trays were standing around saying, "Grandma says no violence," and then they started whacking old ladies.
Okay. So just real quick, we have an art contest going on right now. I want to see that.
Yes,
All
the
right.
Granny Brigade. Yeah,
The
around
Granny
statue.
Brigade
Yes.
protecting statues with cookies, giving them out, and Antifa just standing there like,
listen.
meh.
Yeah.
All right, please continue.
What you were saying about baiting Trump
Yeah.
is exactly it.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
they want to trick you into getting violent so they can use that
Exactly.
against you.
Yep,
When the
exactly.
Proud Boys got into a fight in New York,
Mm-hmm.
they went to prison. And the left was like, yes,
We got him,
we
guys.
tricked these people into swinging the punch.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
and now we won.
It's so obvious what Chaz was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was
Well-
like everybody they were trying to push like, why isn't Trump doing anything? Why isn't Trump bringing this down? It's like, what do you mean? It's the states that you just been drilling him for not doing anything for COVID, and they're like, no, we get to decide what we do with COVID because we're the states. And then this happened, and they're
Dude.
like, Trump, why? It's like,
but-
no, you're the state. You deal with it. What?
But Trump told the governor and the mayor to get to deal with it.
Right,
And
because it makes
but
America look bad.
But they mocked Trump for it. And now 4 shootings later,
Yeah.
what's her name, Jenny Durkin or whatever, is like, oh well, I mean, it's like that's on you.
Yeah.
You could have stopped
absolutely.
this at any point.
She could have stopped
and
it.
the police
Yep.
said they were told to get out.
Yep, exactly.
So what did you think was going to happen?
What do you think?
Summer of
These
Love.
people, Summer of Love, and she walked that back. She's like, well, I didn't really mean it.
That sounds like a horror film, Summer of Love.
doesn't
Yeah, it does. A
Dude,
bad one,
I'm
mind
gonna
you.
write a song called Summer of Love.
Oh,
Do
good.
it. Oh,
Actually,
you're-
Please, I'll back you up on it.
I actually had a really good idea for a song.
Hell yeah.
I was inspired. The sign said long-haired freaky people need not apply.
Great song, yeah. It applies to me.
I was thinking in that kind of upbeat kind of vein,
Uh-huh.
and the normies said, "Please just leave me alone."
Okay.
And so the song can be called Summer of Love. And I was thinking, I'm in the early stages of writing it, where it's basically going through all of the crazy things that have been escalating.
You're such a storyteller.
Like, yeah, all my songs are stories.
I know they're great.
So it's like, first they said, don't insult me. Then they said use my pronouns. Then they said we just want to add a character to your video games. And then it ends with then they're in my home with a gun pointed at my head.
Yep.
And the normie said, please just leave me alone.
Yep.
So it's like it escalates
And
to
then,
the point.
and then a gunshot.
Yeah.
And that's the
And it'll
end.
be called the Summer of Love.
The end.
That sounds like
The Summer of Love.
Yeah.
Because it ends with them surrounding your house and setting up an autonomous zone where they start demanding money from you. And I say, here's the money, but please just leave me alone. Then they came in and stole my food and ripped the copper out of the walls to sell. And I said, yeah, you can take it, but please just leave me alone. Now, at what point do these people realize they're literally not leaving you alone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yep.
Well, Trump didn't take the bait.
Nope,
So
he didn't, because he's actually smart, despite what everyone tries to. Well, not. I don't want to say everyone, but the Democrats,
Doesn't mean he's
the
gonna win.
far left.
doesn't mean
No,
he's gonna
I
win.
know. It is. It's up in the air right now. But
I read-
I know who I'm voting for.
The New York Times did they released their poll. Biden 50, Trump 36. And I keep hearing from everybody, yeah, the polls are wrong, the media is wrong, and I'm like,
Well, Hillary had a 97% chance to win.
87.
No, the day before, I looked into it. It's like the day before, it was November 2nd, and she had a 97% chance to win. I was like, oh wow, she lost.
They were
The,
confident.
the New York Times,
Yeah.
but that's probability, not polls.
Okay.
So the New York Times released an explainer talking about how they did their polling, and they said that even though they predicted Hillary would win, Trump was still in the correct national popular vote margins.
Yeah, but we look about right now the temperature in America, and imagine people are being ostracized from groups for saying I'm a Trump supporter. Like someone called, you said it yourself. Someone
Right.
calls you up, said, "Who are you voting for?" "Oh, I'm going to vote for Biden." Click. I'm voting for Trump. You know,
It
it's
could
like,
be, or it could
Of course,
be.
they're going to say Biden. They're
or-
going to tell anybody that they're voting for Trump. It's like,
But think about the simple solution here.
what?
We are saying there must be. So the simple solution is the polls got released.
Yeah.
Trump is losing.
Okay.
That's it. Now we are trying to justify how that could possibly be,
Right.
but that's not what's being presented to us. So it could be irrational of us to try and justify why Trump really is doing better.
Well, maybe it's good though, because you said it's like if they think he's going to lose, they're going to show up.
It's actually when
Right?
it comes yes and no. If you think you're going to lose completely, you
Right.
don't bother. So it's a mix of I think Trump's going to lose, but he has a chance.
You got to be
I
worried.
don't. Have you seen like Trump rallies? The people that show up there, they're not going to get disheartened. They're going to rally.
He didn't have his million people in Tulsa. So
Okay.
listen. You could make every excuse in the book for why people didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but 13 or so million watched online. It's a huge number. Or not online, but remotely. It's true. But if people aren't willing to actually get up and go support the president in person,
Okay.
then maybe they won't be willing to do it in November. I think look,
I think the people that didn't show up, there's a lot of this COVID thing people are still afraid of. And
true.
it's like if they keep shoving it down your throat, they're not going to show up for the Democrats either. It's not like it's only the Republicans who are afraid of that. It's like everyone, I feel.
what did you just tell me about ballots popping up with only Democratic votes on them?
That's exact. I see it. It's not just one source. It's popping up, and I'm seeing it. It's like,
Pull it up.
Okay, what's going on here?
Pull it up. Read that one.
Oh man, the New Jersey NWACP says leader calls for Patterson mail-in vote to be canceled amid corruption claims. So we have proof that there's corruption in
Yeah.
mail-in voting.
And this is just one story, man. There's a
And
lot.
I'm pretty sure it's a blue state, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
It's a blue state.
Jersey?
Funny you should say that. I've seen a lot. When I say this, I mean a lot. Over 300 easy comments of people talking about how their dead loved ones voted Democrat.
People
that they
who
were like,
moved, yeah.
my mother's been dead for 10 years, and I just got this thing that she voted Democrat.
So weird.
I don't
In
want
two
listen,
elections.
Hold on, check this out. I don't want to name the person, so if you know the name, please don't say it.
I won't.
Okay.
But we got a mail-in ballot to this house.
Really?
We did.
Okay.
I didn't.
Really?
I got an application for a mail-in ballot.
It
I'm
was
fighting a
not
sneeze
for
here.
Tim. Sneeze, Tim, sneeze.
A ballot came. Oh man.
I just let it out. I love a good sneeze.
No.
Good.
I love a good sneeze. Sneezing feels so good.
does. It's awesome.
It's basically your body getting rid of an irritant. That's
right.
literally what a sneeze is. So
Yay!
yes, I love a good sneeze.
All right, there you go.
I could. Resistance was futile.
Yeah,
We
let
got,
it out.
Listen. We got a mail-in ballot here.
Yeah.
And I was shocked when it came.
Wow.
I was like, whoa. What?
Yeah.
Why is this here?
Yeah. What?
And then I said, where's the rest of the mail-in ballots for people in the house?
Right.
We don't have them.
We got a few.
No,
I
we
just don't know
don't.
Where they went.
No, you're wrong. We got applications for ballots.
Oh, is that what those were?
We got applications
Oh.
for ballots, meaning I can fill it out and then ask for one. And it's shocking because it seems like there's no time for that to actually happen.
Right. Yeah.
But
how would that?
why did this one come for somebody who's not here?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It's fishy.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't like
I don't
that.
like the system. Like
And
I don't
listen,
trust the
listen.
system anymore.
A
like, man.
mail-in ballot came here
Uh-huh.
for someone who does not live here.
Right.
And how hard would it be for some person to just like
Fill it out. Forge signature.
Yep.
Boom.
Oh, well,
Off you go.
this person's voting for me.
well, that's what's
Or the
happening in New
whoever-
Jersey, man.
Yeah. And that's just one state.
That is here. That's
Yeah.
New Jersey.
And it's
That's
blue.
What's happening here?
It's a blue state.
Crazy.
And listen, I chose this story for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
NAACP leader
Yeah.
says cancel the vote.
Yeah.
That's not a Republican.
Oh no.
No.
No, that's not a Republican. That's a Democrat. And 20% of the vote was voided.
That's crazy.
20%.
That's insane. That's a lot.
That'll swing.
So
an
I tell you what,
election,
man.
dude.
When I hear from my friends, they're saying things like, make voting easier.
Yeah.
We need to get mail-in voting. And I'm like, you can't just say things. Okay, I understand your point. But now we're looking at an entire group of black voters completely disenfranchised
Yep.
by your progressive policy.
It's shockingly racist.
Oh, Democrats. Democrats trying to
Being racist.
control and,
Well,
and
here-
being racist.
Here's the simple example that I give to people so they can understand the problem with surface level solutions. Let's say there's a protester in the street, just one.
Okay.
And he's holding up a little sign saying ban cilantro. And you're like, it's a ridiculous cause. It's stupid. This is ridiculous,
That's
right?
a good cause.
But you hate cilantro, don't you?
I hate it.
So wouldn't you at least applaud a little bit?
I'd be like,
on
yeah,
the
you go,
inside?
brother. This is part of the point,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Some people are sitting there going like, rock on, brother. Cilantro's nasty.
Yeah.
But traffic is blocked up
Right.
for a long ways.
Because he's standing in the middle of the street.
So the cops walk up and they say, we got to clear the street. Yo,
Yeah.
buddy, move. He says, no, I have a First Amendment right to peaceably assemble.
Okay.
The cops say, if you don't move, you'll be arrested. The cop thinks, we got to clear the traffic. The easiest way to do it, just arrest the guy.
Well, obstructing vehicular traffic is actually a misdemeanor.
Right. So the cop
So-
says, the easiest way to deal with this right now is to just arrest the guy.
Yeah.
And he
Yep.
does. And tomorrow there's 10 protesters. Police brutality. Oh, these nasty cops violated our rights. So then the cops come out and they put on shields this time and they go start smacking heads and locking these people up. The next day 100 protesters show up.
Okay.
The simple solution in this to this problem seems just arrest them and they're gone. And then you incite more
It
protests.
doesn't work like that.
So I'm not saying that's, you never stop the protesters, you never arrest them. I'm saying
Right.
you've got to think about what happens and how you engage. So if Trump, for instance, came out to Chaz with, APCs and soldiers,
Right.
he would have made it 100 times worse.
You're right. That's a good
Instead,
point.
he sat back
Yeah.
and they lit themselves up,
Yep.
and now the mayor looks like an idiot.
It's true. You're
Even
right.
though it's frustrating that
Yeah.
you didn't do anything.
Good point.
So I bring this up because the people who are all screaming for mail-in voting are the cops saying the easiest way to get rid of the protesters is to arrest them. The easiest way to get people to vote is just send them a ballot. It's like, and then you open the door to the whole thing being bunk.
Yep.
So, but think about it. We talked about Democrats and Republicans claiming the victory on both sides, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what happens if they decide to go mail-in voting, and then in Newark, New Jersey,
Yeah.
50,000 mail-in votes are voided?
Yep.
Oh, the whole election, Trump didn't win.
Turns out they're all Republican votes too.
Oh, so weird.
They just voided the Republican votes. The Democrats all went through.
That's not what I mean, though. What
I
mean
know.
is
I'm just
Right.
adding a layer of conspiracy
Trump
onto that.
wins.
yes.
Trump wins a resounding victory.
Mm-hmm.
He wins, 500 electoral votes, and then the Democrats find one state where the mail-in vote is broken,
Yep.
and they say we have to void the whole election. Look at the
Do this
state.
whole thing
The
again.
whole thing's corrupt. If this one's bad, then they're all bad, and then they refuse to accept it. Now, to be fair, it would have to be a close race. Trump wins, but then they find one suspicious state, and it goes to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And then what happens if the Supreme Court says, even though Trump won the Electoral College and the popular vote, this fraud means the Democrats win everything. And then the Supreme Court sides with the Democrats and Trump gets told he's a loser even though he actually won.
Yep.
Then what happens?
Civil War.
Maybe not.
What?
I mean,
what would happen?
maybe. But I'm just entertaining what are conservatives and moderates linking hands and guarding statues. Are moderates, look at the Black Lives Matter guy who got fired from Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And then look at the Trump supporters outside of the convention who were told to leave because of curfew. And they said, you got a boss. And they just walked away. Now, the next day they got rid of the curfew for sure. But I never see conservatives go out and protest or moderates go out and protest. It's always the far left. In fact, Democrats don't even go out and protest. And they do sometimes.
Yeah.
It's mostly the extremists. And then they win every single time.
I read a story on Twitter today where there was a left-wing activist, like a social justice warrior, who quit her job because her boss made like a racist or sexist joke. And I was like, if this leftist can quit her job on the spot because a joke hurt her feelings, then why can you not consider taking steps to make your voice heard in a principled way at your job without freaking out about it? Why would you not even consider this?
I gotta say, man, the left has it's part of their temper tantrum, but you got to understand what a temper tantrum is.
Lack of emotional intelligence.
The willingness to
And
demand
competence.
and refuse to compromise.
And competence.
A temper tantrum is the unwillingness to compromise.
That's true.
It's the toxic version of it,
Yeah.
rolling on the ground, screaming, demanding. But guess what? It's working.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier about how society has coddled us. We're spoiled. We have everything, and a lot of us appreciate it, but a lot of people have no idea.
It's true.
Hello.
Why is she yelling?
There's a cat.
The fatness is in here.
Fatness has ascended.
The cat
Yeah.
is here.
What is she yelling about? There's another cat.
She wants
we have multiple
attention.
cats.
She likes me.
She
Aw.
does. Well, she's mad because Ian's gone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, she hangs out with him. He keeps her company.
Yep, it's true.
Should we talk about?
But first, smash the like button.
Yes.
That's my what?
No, I wanted to turn. I gotta say it.
Well, you got to
sometimes,
do it
Adam.
right then.
Smash that like button.
No. Come on, switch it over.
Smash that like button.
Yes.
There you go.
You better smash it now. Lydia
I
told
said
you.
so, and I'm bossy.
She stepped it up a notch. You better smash that like
right.
button.
Make it happen.
Smash it. There's 34,000 of
Oh
you
my
out
gosh,
there,
I want
and I only
34,000
see
upvotes.
7,000 likes.
Let's do it.
What is going on? Do you not
Yeah.
like us? Do you
Come on.
not? Do you not like me?
Excuse me,
Is that what this is?
good
Oh,
sirs.
sorry. Oh, hello, Tim. I didn't know you were there. So.
Would you mind smashing that subscribe button?
Smash us the like button,
Subscribe button.
Subscribe us.
Oh,
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Let's talk about Bubba Smollett.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Bubba Smollett.
Let's do
Bubba
it.
Now
Smollett.
his real name is Bubba Wallace,
Okay.
but I think he apologized for this, right? Like he said he was embarrassed.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Good for him,
Yeah,
dude.
I was.
Well,
Good on
no, not necessarily. He kind of did it in the loosest way possible. But I'm gonna pull up his tweet here because
All right, do it, do
I
it.
want to read exactly what.
So,
he said.
but
You
let's just
go ahead.
we'll go through the gist of the story. Most of you know this, and I got to tell you, man, I actually got an email about this story
Did you?
that nailed it, 100%. Got the whole thing right.
Okay.
Ooh.
Bubba Wallace relieved by FBI finding no crime in noose, but frustrated by reaction. Well, he apparently changed his story. For those who are not familiar, Bubba Wallace is the only black diaspora, I think that's what they refer to it as, racer in NASCAR.
Okay.
And he found a garage pull cord for the door.
Yep.
It's like if you have a garage, you have a pull cord. It's tied in a loop so you can grab it and pull on it. It's easier to do.
Yeah.
Well, he found that and he said it was a noose. And then NASCAR issued this big statement, and then he like drove his car and they all marched behind him and like sang songs and whatever. And it turns out it was a pull cord. The FBI investigated. Tucker Carlson was very, very critical of the FBI for doing this.
Okay.
I did completely disagree. I'm glad the FBI did. The FBI found that it was not a noose.
I think Tucker's argument was that there were 15 agents sent there while people are pulling down statues.
There was they did say a lot of agents were
It's true,
sent in there.
but I'm glad they did.
It's a little overkill.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did. These incremental fake hoaxes
Yeah,
cause so much damage,
that's true.
and it's on par with tearing the statue. Now, should they be doing something about the statues? Yes. But I think, as we stated in a previous segment, Trump's strategy is these Democratic senators are trying to bait him, and they're burning themselves down.
Yep.
What if, because of all the chaos and destruction in these blue states, I mean, like, dude, we announced it a long time ago. We're getting out of Jersey because of how awful Murphy was.
It's true.
This lunatic of a governor. I'm not kidding. Marching with the protesters and then shutting down businesses and arresting people.
Yep.
The guy lost his mind. So we're done. You lose all our business. All that tax revenue is gone. And I wonder how many other people are getting out of Dodge.
Yep.
They thought they were going to get Trump. They thought Trump will come in and help, and we'll have the last laugh. Nope. So maybe that Trump's strategy is let them burn their own states to the ground. They're the ones in charge, and they'll get voted out.
Yep.
And then you get a whole bunch of red governors. So Trump, at the federal level, sends the FBI to investigate something he can actually investigate. Turns
fair.
out Bubba Wallace, a.k.a. Bubba Smollett, wasn't real. So he tweeted about it, right? You have the tweet?
Well, I have it. I don't want to switch right now while that camera. Thank you.
Wait, there you go.
What are you doing over there? Okay, there we go.
Adam's pulling up the...
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad. It was a misunderstanding.
We are pulling up the tweet from Bubba Smollett.
Go ahead.
There.
You want to read it?
Yeah, sure. So this is his response basically. It's been an emotional few days. First off, I won't say how relieved I am, or I want to say how relieved I am that the investigation revealed that this wasn't what we feared it was. I want to thank my team, NASCAR, and the FBI for acting swiftly and treating this as a real threat. I think we'll gladly take a little embarrassment over what the alternatives could have been. Make no mistake, though, some will try. This should not detract from the show of unity we had on Monday and the progress we've made as a sport to be more welcoming environment for all. So looking at this, first off, he's not saying I was embarrassed. You know, he's saying we. So it's like, you should be embarrassed a little bit.
Yeah.
It is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can emphasize, I can see it. It's like you said it earlier, people are wound up tight.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about racism,
War.
everything, war, like all the stuff's going on. So like, I can definitely imagine him seeing it, walking and seeing it. It's like, you don't see those things. Cell towers, right? You don't notice them until someone points them out.
Yep.
Oh, do you know what that is?
This is my favorite example.
Cell tower. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
But it's like same thing. You work in NASCAR. You're not looking at the pull cord. But nowadays, what the environment we're in, he sees it. I don't blame you at all, Bubba. I don't. I get it. It sucks.
And it probably wasn't him, to be honest.
And you know what? The feeling that he felt when he saw it is real. And that's people are just making fun of him, calling him Bubba Smollett. I don't like that, because he actually went and hired some people to do something where this is completely different.
That's true.
He saw this and felt
he panicked.
something. He felt something real, because it is real in our history. So we have to.
It's not real, actually.
The fact that they were being hung 100 years ago, less than
the
that.
leaving
I don't know the last time,
the
it
leaving
happened,
nooses lying around as some kind of statement is apparently like a really new thing.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not a historical thing.
Oh, no. I'm not talking
But you're
about
talking about
that.
like
I'm
hangings.
Racism.
For sure.
It is founded in reality that we've been through in our
Right.
history. So it's like, I get it. So I kind of feel for him.
For sure. The fairest point is that Jussie Smollett hired two dudes.
Correct.
This joke on Tucker Carlson was amazing. I have to repeat it. I can't remember the guy who said it, but he said, America is not a racist country, it turns out.
Okay.
And Jussie Smollett had to hire two foreigners to do a job Americans wouldn't do.
Wouldn't do.
And
That's my
Tucker starts
favorite
laughing
joke.
like crazy. He's like, I've never heard that was great. And it's a good point. He hired two foreigners to do a job American. Not only that, but they were Nigerian.
Yeah.
Of all.
It's way
so
outsourced.
Bubba is a victim of media hysteria.
Yeah.
And I can respect the statement he made. What I wish he would have done a little bit more. I have no problem, right? So the next story we have that I want to highlight is the cops did the same thing.
Right.
The NYPD who thought their milkshakes were funky.
Yeah.
And so it was their boss who was like, shut it down, go to the hospital. Overreacting, panicking. So when I saw this, I immediately was like, you know what? I jumped the gun on this one.
Yeah.
I tweeted I tweeted Shake Shack straight poison two cops. Things are getting insane.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I thought what I was saying was like they actually got sick. I don't know how they got sick.
Right.
But like they got poisoned from Shake Shack.
But they just taste it and they're like, oh, this is
Gross.
What I mean to say is my statement was too definitive and I was wrong. And so I tweeted out like, I'm going to eat this one. I was totally wrong. I jumped the gun. I should have waited.
Yeah.
I assumed if the police had tweeted it and the journalist did, it must have been true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other journalists made the same mistake on Covington. I should know better.
Right. So that's the environment we're in right now. It's tense.
Well, what I mean is I have no problem saying I did a bad job and I'll do better next time.
Yeah.
This guy's saying, we'll be a little embarrassed here. No, Bubba, just say it. You were wrong.
Yeah.
And boy, do you feel dumb, but
Precisely.
it's okay.
Yep.
I would have a lot more respect if you came out and said, yikes. Well, I look like an idiot. I hope you guys can forgive me for putting you through this, but you got to understand why I'm wound up a little bit based on everything that's happening. And
Right.
and that's why I can respect to what he's, an extent, to that extent.
And now I want to talk about the last part of it, because he says, it shouldn't detract from the show of unity that we had on Monday. And it's like, look, man, this is where we are now in life. Most people are not racist.
Yep.
It's not just on Monday.
That's great news.
Everyone came together and we're
Yeah.
like, really? Did this happen? Well, we're going to make sure we prove that it didn't happen. And it's like, that's the norm. People seem to believe that racism is like rampant among everybody. And it's like, no, that's also a minority. A minority of people. I don't know any races. I met a few in my life,
I met
and
some
I've
in
cut them
Virginia.
out immediately. And I blew up on them, and I snapped. They know my mind. They know I'm not about that. I don't talk to them anymore.
I think racism is being brought back by the left.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
giving
it
a
is.
free pass. So
Absolutely.
there are some people. So I was in an Uber in Texas, and boy, was this one of the most uncomfortable rides I've ever had. Dude was hardcore racist.
Really?
Yeah, using racial slurs, mostly targeting black people and stuff like this.
Man, that would
And you know what was it? You know what gave him like what he was talking about? He was talking about the left and the things they were doing. It opened a door for him to say, you notice all these people coming out with this Black Lives Matter stuff, and they started going off. And it was like the things that these activists did. And I got to be honest, I was very like, he could tell I was getting angry.
Yeah.
Using slurs and stuff and the things he was saying, and then he shut it down quick. But this was well after the Dallas shootings, where the black identity extremist was killing a bunch of cops. You're familiar with that?
I know of it, yeah.
Shot a protester. Someone was shielding your kids. And so this guy's going off about Black Lives Matter and stuff, and he's just going hard at it. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what, man? This guy's a racist. But now he thinks, because of what they've done, I can say whatever I want because people are going to agree because they don't like it.
Right, that's stereotyping. It's saying that I saw one person of this specific race do something bad. Everybody of that race is that same person.
No, I think
that is a problem.
No, I think this guy was overtly racist for other reasons.
Probably, sure.
But I think he was thinking.
That does equate. That is what happened, though. He is doing that. He's like, this guy did it, so they all are like that. I'm going to just put them all in the same bracket.
No, not him.
Maybe not consciously.
What I'm saying is that because of these negative stories in the press, it gave him an opportunity to say, hey, you hate those guys killing those cops, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah. And then he goes off. So once he gets you to agree with him, all these things they're doing is bad, right? They're shooting people. They're out throwing bricks and fireworks and stuff. And you're like, it's all awful. And then he tries pushing to see how far he can take you. What I'm saying is racists are being emboldened by the extremist actions of the left in the name of racial justice. Okay. And they know that regular people are getting scared of the violence. And it's giving an opening to racists to be like, ooh, now's my chance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's not the norm anymore.
It's certainly not. And a lot of these people that they're a lot older, relics of a bygone era.
Like Biden?
Yeah, like Biden.
That's the first thing that pops in my head.
That
dude's so racist,
relics.
man.
Old racist person.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right.
We're having some allergy troubles.
Yeah, man, I am so happy I don't have allergies.
Yeah, it's not great.
I feel bad for people who do.
Yeah, well, c'est la vie. I don't think it's allergies. I think I just sneezed.
No, sure.
Sometimes people sneeze. That's about it.
Really? Scandal.
But yeah, to go to the end, the police thing too. In L.A., a guy claimed that he had a tampon in his Frappuccino or whatever.
Okay.
Clearly was not a tampon.
Yeah, so
I see it.
We were talking about this yesterday when it happened because I came up with this. I came across the story and I was like, holy cow, this is crazy. This is biohazard if it really is like a gross used tampon.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's disgusting, right? And then a few minutes later, Tim's like, no, this is fake news or whatever. And I was like, good, that's great.
I was like, I'm not falling for this again.
Yeah.
I tweeted out the milkshake thing.
Yeah, never again.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, my first response was that makes me feel so much better about people. And that's kind of what I see happening with Bubba, because he's like, I see a positive side to this. Like, this isn't the way people really are.
Good for him.
I'm embarrassed, but I'm really glad this is the case. I'm happy for
people
him.
got to stop making fun of him. It's like it's an embarrassment. People are allowed to make mistakes. People are allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah, as long as you apologize and own up to it.
I mean, if he's gonna lean into it and double down after knowing,
he did.
Yeah, and he did.
He did.
See, now that's a little bit different of a story,
right?
That's getting into the Smollett side of things.
Yep.
It's like, well, make up your mind, Bubba.
But he realized he was going to lose. So
that's why this popped up.
Like a video of him on Don Lemon. He was like, it was a noose. And he's like, it was a pull cord. It was a straight noose.
Nah.
Like,
I saw a picture of it. It was tiny.
Someone sent me screenshots.
Yeah.
A bunch of stories are going viral showing lines pointing things out in the garage.
Right.
Someone sent me this like very early on. And I saw it and I was like, I don't know enough about it. So it's like interesting. And then sure enough, when the story comes out, they use similar images. And I was like, there it is.
Yep.
Somebody sent me the tip first, but what am I going to do? So it turns out it was a pull cord.
Yeah.
And he walked right into that one.
Yep. And I guess he didn't even see it himself. Is that what happened? Is that true?
I think someone else noticed it. Yeah.
Someone else pointed it out to him like, hey, you see that noose there? That's
freak
for
out.
you.
Ah.
Like, who's that person? That's what I want to know. Who said that to him?
I don't know.
Who put that idea in his head?
That's not nice, though. I don't like that.
Not cool.
Someone
man.
who is
Not
also
cool,
who is naive and who is wound up tight.
Yes.
Freaking out. The media's telling you the world's ending. The Nazis are here.
Yeah.
What is it? Vox.com said 4 million people think like neo-Nazis in this country or something like that.
Wow.
It's like, that's insane, man. They just make those numbers up.
Didn't we
3,000 Klan members in the country.
9 showed up to the last rally.
3,000?
9 is my favorite number.
9 people?
Yeah, 9 people showed up.
Not 9,000.
Yep, 9.
9.
9. Yeah.
This
Sounds like no.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what I love. People will always be like, Tim, you're so biased. Why won't you talk about the far right? And I'm like,
Because they're not
what about them?
there.
Yeah, who
What about the 3,000 Klan members who don't show up for their own meetings?
that don't do anything?
What
but sit in circles
what
and
about
yell.
Daryl Davis, who's effectively de-radicalized tons of them, who couldn't effectively de-radicalize the Antifa people?
Right.
What about the Antifa people who show up to every single major political rally and Trump rally and attack people?
Not only did they did he not able to radicalize or not de-radicalize them, they called him a white supremacist.
Yep.
So it's like, how does that make any sense?
So
It doesn't make any sense.
you have to understand what white supremacy means to them.
Right.
It means liberal democracy.
Right.
It does.
Being
So-
a citizen, an upstanding citizen
No,
in
no.
America.
It's a
Well,
reference.
that's yes, but also go ahead.
It's not a reference to white supremacy. To them are the institutions of Western countries, period.
Right. Okay.
So a court of law is white supremacy. A library is white supremacy. I'm not exaggerating.
Everything we
They
need.
they view it as white Europeans invented the concept of time. Time is white supremacy.
It's crazy.
I'm not kidding. Remember that woman who
I do,
said
yeah.
time is white supremacy?
Yes.
insane.
That's
Yeah.
so pretentious.
She said,
Yeah.
"Yep,
Oh my gosh.
time was white." She literally, she was a professor,
Middle
right?
class. I think so, yeah.
And she was
That's
like,
what I
"Time
can
is
find
white
here.
supremacist." They think anything white people have done is part of the system of white supremacy, and so what dumb leftists and Democrat voters don't realize, this is a very clever tactic on the part of the far left.
Yeah.
So you get your average Democrat voter, and they'll say, "Do you want to march against white supremacy?" And they'll go, "Oh, of course," because
Yeah.
they're thinking the Klan and neo-Nazis.
Right.
What they're really protesting is roads, water faucets.
Everything we need.
I'm not exaggerating.
Farmers.
That's
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Stores.
Stores, farmers.
That's why that one woman on Twitter said on her Twitter bio, "Destroy civilization." They really do want to live in, tribes roaming the fields. And it's not an exaggeration.
Well, I mean, it's their animal instincts probably taken over instead of their like
higher
hi-
instincts.
yeah higher mind that we try to hold ourselves above animals, but we're all animals.
They're devolving.
And there's some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
De-evolution.
Yeah.
They want to go back to the living in
Regressing.
trees and eating bugs with
Idiocracy, yeah.
sticks.
I don't think they do. I think they just haven't thought through what's going to happen. I think they think they're going to keep all the nice, fun capitalist stuff and the frappuccinos and the iPhones. And they're
You're
just
right.
going to have
Yep.
a communistic utopia. I don't know.
Yeah,
They
it's like,
they
I-
think
Go ahead.
if we have communism,
Uh-huh.
then frappuccinos are free,
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
and then everyone gets a frappuccino. They don't understand the concept of like finite materials and production and labor.
Yeah, I saw a Trump hating post today from someone that I know, and it was basically about him taking back some environmental stuff in America. And I was reading the comments, and I know some of these people in there, and I'm like, you realize that all of you have phones, and we get all those phones from other countries that have zero environmental control.
Yeah.
They don't care what happens over there, and you guys are all you're complaining about Trump trying to bring. I mean, you realize he's trying to bring the factories here where we will regulate them. I mean, he's there's a fine line,
Right.
but that's the reason why he's doing this. And they were all like, "Wow, he didn't think about that." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you know where your iPhone came from, right? On the other side of the planet, where you don't think about. But here you're complaining about something on your computer, mind you."
Yep.
That was made over there with no environmental
And then you get-
control. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
But the cult is very good. Who's that comic book guy who makes the really like 5-year-old level intelligence comics?
Oh.
Where he's like, "You have an iPhone, but complain about society. I'm so smart." You know that comic they always send you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they have these
talking about.
straw man rebuttals because they're in a cult, right? They can't actually formulate their own cohesive response.
Right.
The comic is, it's a peasant carrying sticks, and he says, "We should improve society somewhat." And then a guy pops out of a well going like this with his fingers, and he goes, "Yet you live in society, haha." And he thinks it's a point against when people say to the far left activists, "You want to have all these regulations, yet you have an iPhone."
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no real response to it, this guy makes up a fake straw man response of, "You want to improve society, yet you live in it." And the point he's making is, just because you have an iPhone doesn't mean that you have no right to demand things are better. And it's like, that's technically the truth, but that's not the point we're making.
That is
Right.
so
The
weak.
point we're making is that you're demanding environmental regulations to stop the Pacific plastic gyre and then giving money to the people who are making the plastic gyre.
Right.
If you want to stop the slave labor and you want to
Yes.
improve human rights, give your money to people who enforce human rights, the ones in America.
Boom.
And that's so annoying about that comic.
Yep.
Where it's like, I'll fix the comic for you. It's a guy who's not in the society laughing about how awful the society is, and then the other guy laughing saying, "But you live in it," and he doesn't. It's listen.
Yep.
The comic makes me mad.
I know it makes me mad because it's like watching. It's like a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
These people are clowns.
Yeah, they are.
And it's like when you walk up to them and they're like, they're eating glass, and then they're going, oh, because their stomachs hurt and they fall over, and you go, yo, stop eating glass. And then they all start going with their noses and dancing around like this.
No, half of them are doing that. The other half are like, don't tell us what to do.
No, they're clowns. Half of them are eating glass.
Yeah. They're doing great over there.
And you're like, stop eating glass. You're dying.
Well, I don't know
Die.
if you knew this but clowns are now evil and are in half of all
Clowns are white
horror
supremacists.
films.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No.
Because there's
Of
a meme.
course.
There's a meme about
course
Clown
they are.
World.
Why not?
The Clown World meme, and the far left argues that people who post the emoji of the clown in the world are neo-Nazis
Okay.
because some neo-Nazis post the clown in the world. But it's a reference to this idea that everything's gone so insane, certainly we must be in a sitcom written by clowns.
Yep.
But other people have pointed out there's this who wrote the story of the clown in the theater and the fire? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Can you look it up?
Yeah.
There's a famous story. It's like a poem or something, or a short story,
Okay.
where a clown
Kierkegaard. A fire broke out
Kierkegaard.
backstage.
Yeah.
That one.
A fire breaks out backstage, and the clown
Awesome.
runs out and starts warning the audience, the fire, and they all start laughing.
I thought it was a joke.
And then he says, no, there's a serious fire. It's going to kill you all. And they all laugh. And then it burns down and they all die.
Oh,
Something like that.
Wait,
That's it, right?
Is this an
Yeah.
actual event that happened?
No.
No,
Okay,
it's-
so
it's
a story.
Soren,
Read it, read it.
Soren Kierkegaard is a philosopher, and his little quote, it's really short. I didn't realize how short it was. It says, a fire broke out backstage in a theater. The clown came out to warn the public. They thought it was a joke. Oh my gosh, go away, you stupid pop-up thing. And applauded. He repeated it. The acclaim was even greater. I think that's just how the world will come to an end, to general applause from wits who believe it's a joke. I'm like,
There you go.
Yeah, I don't
So,
like that.
And you know what? Hold on. I just want to get this out. A lot of people are looking at all these people that are ripping down statues and they're like, this is a joke. These are
Yep.
jokers.
It's just a joke.
Yep.
Yeah, some
Just like what
deal.
you were saying the other day. It's like this is gonna pass over.
It'll be fine.
These jokers.
that's what someone told me today. Oh, it'll stop. They'll get bored. No, they won't.
Yep,
Not
they're
so
They've been
far.
clowns.
escalating
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah.
But it's the clowns that are doing insane things for insane reasons. And if you try and talk to them, they just smile and go, and you're like, you're not responding to me. You're not answering my question. When they post that comic of the guy going, yet you live in society, it's like, you realize you didn't answer what my point was.
Right.
That you are literally giving money to the Chinese establishment, which has slave labor committing suicide in mass for cheap products they jack up the price on, which contributes to plastic pollution around the planet.
And
You
that's
don't have
ruining
to
the
buy the phone.
environment
You
over
can
here.
buy American-made phones.
Boom.
Yet you live in society. Well, I don't. You have to buy an iPhone, bro.
You have to live somewhere.
Yeah. It's like so. Someone once told me, I'm more effective with this computer, and I said, you can buy a computer from somewhere else. Like there's no obligation to own a MacBook.
Right.
Seriously.
But you live in society. Oh, shut up. That's a straw man excuse. So you can buy your luxury goods, drink your Starbucks,
Feel
and then
less
pretend
guilty.
like you're allowed to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's part of the saying, right? The snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. It's an
Yep.
excellent saying. They say, I'm allowed to have an iPhone. It's other people who aren't.
Yeah.
So
I
you
can't
want-
stand
you-
the
you-
hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yet you live in. These people are so dumb, and they get these people who craft these stupid messages to defend their ignorance, and they post it all the time.
Nonstop.
It's really funny how like. So I tweeted the other day, AOC won, and then I said something like, perhaps people are not happy. They don't want things to go back the way they were. Someone responded with like, you kept claiming she was going to lose. And I said, yes, months and months ago when stories were coming out suggesting she was going to lose. It's really that simple. When a story comes out saying Wall Street was heavily funding Michelle Crusoe Cabrera, I was like, whoa, this is a bad sign for AOC. She could really lose in this case if her opponent's raising ridiculous tons of, ridiculous sums of establishment cash. Then we have the Economist data saying that progressives keep losing, Vox saying progressives keep losing. So yes, in those contexts, and then in the past month, I said AOC is going to win. She's probably going to win. I don't think MCC is going to win. But what they do is they take really, really old things that are totally out of context, and they craft these memes, and then they can all use them as their one-off without paying attention or actually knowing what they're talking about.
Yep.
And that's how they defend their insanity.
Well, I read it online, so it must be true.
Yeah,
I
for
saw
sure.
it. See, look, my friend, my credited friend sent me this.
That's right.
So
My
I
little echo
believe it.
chamber. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clowns. I noticed a bunch of people posted clown emojis.
I saw that
And
immediately.
the okay hand sign.
All I can picture is
Dude.
the gif of you doing.
It's gonna be great. I look forward to that
That's
tomorrow.
pretty funny.
Could you imagine trying to talk to somebody and you're like, I think we have a serious problem with the structure of our tax system. Now, a lot of people are concerned about healthcare, but first, I think we need to reallocate taxes away from foreign interventionary war and regime change. So we could reallocate those funds. And they look at you and go, you're like, I don't. Are you supporting me?
Start
I don't
honking over
speak.
you.
I don't speak that.
And they
I don't
start going
speak
like
that.
this. And you're like, what's happening? I thought we were having a conversation. And then they start throwing pies at you.
Yep.
And it's like, how am I supposed to have a conversation right now? Like,
Yeah.
They're trying to shut you
and,
down.
and then they turn around and there's a voting booth and they're dancing like this and they grab the lever and slowly turn their head and smile and
Creepy.
go,
That was creepy, dude.
And then
you just
pull the-
creeped me out.
That was the point.
Unsettling.
No one else saw that though. It was directly at me, and that is some
He
freaky
likes to do
stuff.
that.
they're dancing.
Whoa, Tim.
They're dancing, and their head spins all the way around very slowly and stares at you as they pull the lever for some lunatic.
Yeah.
And then you're like, who are you voting for? And you look and you can see the printout, and on the receipt is a clown face, and you're like, no.
Then you wake up from your nightmare.
No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
Just goes on.
Yes.
It-
I'm
you're
gonna go
not
with that.
dreaming.
I woke up.
You just
Then you
wake
walk
up.
outside and there's clowns everywhere.
Please wake up. Please wake up. Please wake up.
Now, the funny thing about all this is that I think many Trump supporters are just in a luckier position in that they're not on the side of the authoritarian wingnuts who are banning speech. You can complain about Trump and call him all the worst names in the book. Trump is doing very little, unfortunately. He's not banning speech. He's actually not doing a whole lot to protect speech online. So it's like he's doing not a lot. Neither are the Republicans. It's the left that is banning things, burning things, tearing down statues.
Actually making stuff happen.
That's true. They're
It's
winning.
not good stuff.
But the point is, these people think they're not the clowns. They're all dressed like clowns.
Yep.
And I got to be honest, a lot of them literally dress like clowns.
Yeah.
Shaved heads, pink spiky hair, and weird things on their
yeah.
face.
That's a good point.
And they're everywhere, and they make no logical sense. It's just like what I was saying before. It's like when you're making cookies, and you cut out the cookies, and you got that weird leftover dough you can't really cook or do anything with.
Yep.
It's like these people are only fragments of a functioning member of society because there's nothing for them to do anymore because we've progressed too much in technology.
Yeah, I like that
That's a
analogy.
good point.
So now they're like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what to do. And they can only do half-assed things. They can't do one functioning job. They just are a bunch of little tiny things here and there, odd jobs. And that's the gig economy, to be honest. People who do menial tasks, delivering packages, and I don't mean an offense to the people who actually do these jobs because, to their credit, they're literally doing jobs. I mean that we have a whole generation of people who have no specialty task anymore.
Yep.
So they're
it's too bad.
aimless,
It's not
and
good.
they're looking for that hard purpose, and they find it in dogma.
Yep.
Now they've got a whole persona.
Yep.
Now they've fulfilled themselves. They're no longer just an Uber driver. Now they're the activist for social justice,
cause.
revolutionary,
Yes.
fighting in the underground fight.
Yeah.
La résistance. Viva! And they run out and they go and smash windows and they think they've changed the world. That's what they're really doing. Shall we go to the super chats?
Yes, let's do it. I love super chats.
Hello, super chats. If you haven't already, we'll try to get to as many as possible, but we usually can't. Well, we obviously can't read everybody, but we will read what we can.
There's some honking ones in there. I saw.
Yeah, man.
I saw you.
Honking ones. Look at all the clown faces.
I love it.
I mean, I think the meme actually reinvigorated the idea of the clown, though, because now clowns make me laugh.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Ingsock says, have you ever listened to the Alex Jones Prison Planet? It's a slam death metal band fronted by none other than Alex Jones.
What?
Just discovered this today. Is that true?
Interesting.
All right. Evan S. says, Tim, given the state of the world, would you be open to rediscovering your faith? If you do, I recommend going to traditional Latin Mass. The closest to you are Mater Ecclesiae in Berlin, New Jersey, or Cathedral Basilica of St. Peter's and Paul in Philly. Well, I would tell you the answer is no. But the way I usually describe it is that non-theistic religious. I have my own unique spiritual perspective. I believe in God, but I don't believe in. It's kind of. I was explaining this earlier. Everybody can sort of see through like a keyhole
Yeah.
into what the truth really is.
Yeah.
But they're only looking through one keyhole at varying perspectives.
And it's their own perspective.
Right.
Also.
So the way I see it is each a lot of these religions, not all of them, but a lot of them, would be like if there was a big, huge mansion, and each and every one of them had a door, and they were peeking through a keyhole. At one keyhole, you can see the lounge and the bookshelves, and you're like, that's it. That's what's inside. And then on the other side of the building, they see a gymnasium. No, you're wrong. Inside is this. So they're getting similar glimpses of things, but it's not, Yep. That's kind of how I view it. So there's no real faith to rediscover, I guess.
I got this big one here from MazPP98. He says, Tim, please remind viewers of what you tell people that ask to work for you or with you. This is probably the best time to get that message out. Big fan of the podcast. I messaged via the Timcast contact page. I will send a follow-up shortly to connect with Adam. What up? Hit me up, Adam Krigler, on all my stuff. You can hit me up there. And then I don't use Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Hat tip to Lydia.
Hello,
and
thank you.
the IRL crew as well. Must.
So what do we tell people when they're looking for jobs?
I guess so.
There are no jobs.
No,
Well-
we're not. Yeah.
There you go.
There are
Yep.
no jobs. There may be soon.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we have to do is we have to buy space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
then
looking.
it's going to be local jobs. And we're going to be probably in the middle of nowhere in an underground bunker 50 feet
Yes.
below the earth.
Yeah.
Correct.
And you're going to need biometrics, and like you have to like prick your finger and put
Your
blood on the
PPE,
keypad
yep.
for it to
To
actually
get it.
open it.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
You got to be wearing a full level 4
Need
PPE.
your own Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And I got another one here from Spectrum Elf. These are huge super chats.
Thank
I
you very
noticed. I
much.
was like, I'm gonna pull these aside
Ooh, yeah.
and just read them out. I wanted to donate $501 just to flex on the other guy, but alas, $500 is the max.
Admirable.
I work in Hollywood animation and enjoy the idea of funneling money from them to cool people like
Ooh,
y'all.
Thank you.
I'm
Cool.
conservative, so the day I have to stand up for myself is the day I'll probably be blacklisted forever. Thanks so much for what you do. I watch every day. Thank you very much.
Cheers, dude. Thank you.
Well, over here. Thank you.
maybe-
Appreciate that.
Maybe we can, as we expand,
We are looking for an animator.
well, we already have an animator.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but we are looking for, as time goes on, we're going to be hiring more and more people. Maybe the solution is, what Project Veritas does? When people stand up, they get a GoFundMe. So right now, Veritas has an insider from Facebook who's blowing the whistle, and it's nuts. It's
I know.
crazy stuff.
Man, it's nuts. I mean, we should do a segment on it, honestly.
Yeah, Facebook employees straight up being like, "We'll ban anybody wearing a MAGA hat."
Let's
Jeez,
talk
dude.
about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll dig into it.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll see.
right,
We'll see what their update is. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
write
sure
it
they'll. But this whenever they have one of these whistleblowers, they launch a fundraiser for them.
That's great. That's really
It's
nice.
not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But you know what we need? I think the real issue is if you lose your job, you just need to find somebody who will hire you. It's really that simple.
And it is
Look,
possible.
But it might not be the job you want.
Right, but
that's the
You
challenge.
might have to bite it.
I don't
but-
know if it's not necessary. I mean, you got to think where we are though. COVID.
I'm saying
businesses aren't open.
if you live in Los Angeles,
This is like the worst
Listen.
time to lose your job.
if you live in Los Angeles and the red states are open,
I have friends in Los Angeles that don't have jobs and they're stressing.
South Dakota's open. How about you take this opportunity?
It's also not cheap to move across country,
Yeah, well,
especially
Colorado's 2
especially if
states
you
over.
have family with
the
kids.
cost of freedom is high.
And if you can't afford it though, it's like there's plenty of people who couldn't afford a $400 swing
It's true.
of emergency.
true, yeah.
Like
Perhaps.
so it's like the cost of freedom is high but pretty much above everybody's pay grade. So what?
Start selling stuff. Get in your car. South Dakota.
It's so easy
They're
to just
open.
say that.
Perhaps, but I did it several
did it.
times in my life.
Yeah.
I sold
I'm
all
talking
my
I'm talking about the average person. You're not the average person.
when I was living in Chicago, and I sold all of my possessions, and then moved to California with $200, and I was homeless for a brief period.
But
I mean,
again, you didn't have kids. You were just by yourself.
right?
You weren't married.
I'm saying it's possible.
Completely different situation.
It's possible, especially when you have two income earners.
Yeah. So I got another Rigel J here. Another $500. These are huge. You
Whoa.
guys are amazing. But
Thank you,
I
guys.
see him. I'm gonna call him out here.
Why
It
is
says,
everybody giving us $500?
don't ask these questions. Just
No, I'm
say
saying,
thank you.
I'm saying, why aren't more people giving us $500?
All right,
Thank you, guys.
Rigel J says the very highest leaders at my workplace talk about the need for the courage to stand up against racism and the need to have difficult, nuanced conversations. Then they huddle in their bubbles, stroke their egos, and assuage their white guilt by confirming each other's biases. Tim, you lit a fire in me, and I'm going to be a figurative needle in their bubble.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh boy.
That's
I
what
think-
we need. I mean, it just has to happen. It's like people got to speak up. It's like you are hypocrites. You can't claim that you want to be, against racism and then go into your little bubble and
Just
talk,
feel good
be
about it.
racist, in closet racist.
There's a word for that.
What?
When you and a group of people form a circle
And hug each other.
and hug each other.
Yes, it's very nice.
And pat each other on the back.
That's right.
I'm not going to
That's
say
what
it.
you're
We're a
doing.
family
I
friendly
said
show
it
here.
once before, and
A circle of
you were like,
jerks.
A circle,
Yeah.
a circle of mean
Circle-
people.
Yes.
A circle of jerks.
oh, well, seriously, thanks for the huge super chats,
Yeah,
guys.
and
Really,
good luck, dude.
Yeah.
really appreciate you.
You got any more? Or?
I haven't seen any more.
All right.
Those are the 3 that I saw that I was like,
Honorable.
whoa, I got it. And they disappear because I don't have that. I
This-
have
like the
I have
stream
just
system.
what everyone else
Yeah.
is seeing. So
Grant Thompson says, I lived in Scotland and respect of Robert the Bruce is evident. I've met people that saw him as a turncoat. There was no recourse for the death of Sir William Wallace. Robert was seen as a traitor. Does Robert E. Lee deserve the same when he also fought for his people? Robert, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know enough about Robert the Bruce. I do. Isn't he the guy from like the 1200s?
Isn't that Braveheart?
Very old.
Isn't that what Braveheart's
Yeah.
about? It's
Was it?
him, yeah, him fighting.
They
for his
vandalized
freedom,
his
and then
statue and called him a
he
racist.
Eventually gets like publicly ripped apart. But I mean,
So-
Robert E. Lee fought honorably for his people, right? That's what they're saying. It's like, does he deserve a movie? Because, and it's like, I mean,
I don't think so.
they're running out of ideas, so I mean, it's
I
going to
don't-
happen eventually. I'm sure,
I
but-
don't like the idea of Confederates getting honored. I understand the idea of defending your states and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the way I view it is, there's you can look back at historical figures and make them all look like really, really bad people.
Yeah.
The question I have is, what were they creating a better world? The founding fathers were.
That's true.
Thomas Jefferson was. He was a slave owner, but he was laying the groundwork for a better world.
And through their work, slavery was abolished.
But the
Because-
Confederates weren't.
That's true.
The Confederates were resisting.
Yeah, they wanted to keep their slaves.
Because
and
they-
and you
and there's-
lost Confederates.
And there are a lot of arguments about states' rights. There are a lot of arguments about the crippling of their economy and things like that. But at a certain point, like, you are not creating a better world. You are fighting to keep the bad flowing.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of world leaders who are really, really awful.
Those Democrats.
Stalin. Was Stalin making the world a better place? Absolutely not.
No.
This is not someone, and Lenin. No. The founding fathers did. All the freedom these SJWs have to go around and protest and screeching at the top of their lungs was granted to them. They should be respectful for it.
That's true.
Now,
They don't realize,
You
though.
could argue Thomas Jefferson didn't create a better world because he created a world in which the SJW could grow and become tainted and
You get a
destroy
bunch of
everything.
freedom.
But I'm kidding, by the way.
I think it was going to happen no matter what because the technological era that we live in makes people comfortable. We want to be comfortable. We are the kings of this planet. Like, we've declared the planet is ours. Now we're looking at Mars like, yep, that's going to be ours too soon. It's like, well, we're comfortable. People like it. They're used to it.
I'm just trying to figure out, what qualifies someone for being a historical figure we build a statue for and one we don't. And I can certainly respect the willingness to fight and die for your people, but not insofar as people who would create an awful future like the Soviets would.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So as far as Robert the Bruce goes, though, he was actually actively leading Scottish people toward freedom. This was one of the first.
They
independence.
called him a racist, right?
He was born in like 1200.
They called him a racist somewhere.
Yeah,
And
1274.
Count Dankula said, I'm pretty sure he didn't even know black people existed.
Yeah, he might not have. Legit.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, this is for
yes.
this is for everyone out there
Yes.
that wants to super chat but can't, and most especially for the people who have super chatted and we can't get to your super chat. I'm spinning the UFO for you.
Spin it.
That's right.
Yes.
There it goes.
Lydia, you're getting way too excited right now,
Yeah,
The
and I'm
UFO
all
is
sorts of
being
wound up.
spun.
and I'm not upset.
We got
about
a
it.
super chat here from Dalton Lucas. He said, Bubba never saw the noose. His crew found it and told him about it. If I was in Bubba's shoes and someone told me that, I'd be scared too.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. He never saw it.
So he didn't even know what it looked like.
Yeah.
No wonder he was
Interesting.
embarrassed.
Interesting.
Let's see. We definitely got that big one. Big old super chats. Let's see, where are we at?
Well, I don't know actually.
Yeah, we did. That was
You read it? You saw it?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a five.
Okay.
Sean Lewis says, Tim and Co., I've become a huge fan and love your views, even if I don't always agree. My question is, when doing research on topics, which is the best way to form factual opinions, or who to trust due to so many biased medias? I honestly can't give you a good answer, to be fair. I can't.
I agree. I'm. That's basically what I do all day. I'm just reading articles, cross-referencing, seeing what people are posting. I honestly, I feel like posting something and going, is this true? And because I have a really solid following now, a lot of people are hitting me up like, this isn't true, this is true. And I see both. People are arguing. People argue that it's true, it's not true, that the AOC tweet from
I'm pretty sure that was
a while
fake.
ago. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
it's not, it was a
People ask me about it too.
wild tweet, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, there's no way she tweeted this. But a lot of people out there are like, I saw it on her page, and then she deleted it. And it's like, I don't know, you know, but you know, that does help a lot. And I actually really appreciate you guys that are hitting me up with those. So
I do.
it's tough.
I read left wing and right wing sources.
I use allsides.com.
So I use allsides.com. It's fantastic. I use NewsGuard, which is not perfect, but it's pretty good. There are some issues with it for sure. They do have their biases. And then I'll go to SJW subreddits and right culture war subreddits, what do you want to call it, libertarian. And I'll go to r/politics, where you'll see all of the hate for Trump. And then you can go to the Donald.win, which is the Donald Trump supporters' unique clone of Reddit, because they were getting censored on Reddit. So I just try and read everyone's take on things. And then typically you can discern the truth if you read like 5 articles on the same thing.
Yes.
It's not perfect though. It's not.
I got a whole thread on this on my Twitter right now.
About how to like sort through.
About how to find a good source and some of my favorite sources. If you're interested.
And you can follow her right there.
Whoop,
Sour Patch Lids.
That's me.
Speaking of following, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at
Yes.
Timcast.
And you can follow me at Adam Krigler at Parler.
Parlay.
Well,
Oh yeah, Parlay.
don't you
Parler?
parlay on Parler?
Parlay.
It's Parlay.
Oh, it's
called-
spelled Parler, but
It's
Yeah,
spelled
it's Parlor is how you spell it in French.
Parlay. But I kind of like that. You go to
Parler.
Parler to parlay with people.
Yeah.
But Parlor is spelled differently.
I
Yeah,
see
well,
that's a
I'm gonna
lie.
do what I do. So
All right.
you can follow me there,
He's
and you
everywhere.
can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me
Parler.
YouTube, Instagram. It's just at Adam Krigler on all the things. So hit me up.
Actually, that's a really good point. If you're not on Parlay, it's Parler. Sign up and you can follow all. Are you on Parler?
I am. Yeah.
At
yeah.
Sour Patch Lids?
Yep.
Oh,
I
there
think
it
I
is.
was on before you made yours public.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
So we're
always
all
a
on Parlay.
competition for you, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I'm winning. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
yeah.
Have
We
fun.
got
You're the only one playing.
we got a super chat here,
It's
guys.
great.
Gotta read the super chat.
Yes.
Sorry, go.
IR Long says, "Hey guys, thanks for being great. I've lost a lot of respect for so many people in our country. Many of the people I've told about the destruction of American history have straight up said they don't care. But not you guys. Here's to the last patriots.
Thank you.
Thank
I care because I've been to other countries.
Exactly.
Dude.
I know what it's like. I've seen it. It's insane.
In Germany, at the G20, Luke Rudkowski, a friend of mine, was walking down the street, and someone saw him and pointed and yelled, Nazi Schweinhund,
Yep.
Nazi pig.
Mm-hmm.
And this other guy who was with him was just some random young journalist from Germany. And so they ran up and started punching him, and
Yep.
then other people saw, and then ran up and started punching him as well as they yelled Nazi Schweinhund.
Yep.
Because no one knew who they were, but say it once and it's all it takes. When I was leaving the protest area, there were people tweeting. I was with Lauren Southern, and it's a long story I'm not going to get into, but there were threats made against her. So I was like, I'm gonna walk with her back to make sure nobody tries to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I agree with her politics, but I don't want anyone to die. And so we walked back, and as we were walking back, people were spying on us. We'd see them, like, we'd be walking and people would just turn and look. And then all of a sudden on Twitter, Antifa would be like, we spotted them, they're here.
Yep.
It's crazy stuff, man. You don't look, these other countries are freaky and creepy. And I got to say, man, I think Sweden is freaky and creepy. I know you like Sweden. I don't.
Well,
But
it is a little creepy sometimes. I can see
it's
the
very
aspects
homogenous.
of it.
It's very like everybody's in line and like
It's Duloc.
But
marching in lockstep.
Well, I mean, we can't compare. It's a tiny little country, not even 10 million people, or
Yeah.
maybe 10 million people.
Almost, yeah, 10 million.
But that's it. 10 million. We have 350,000. It's like
Now it's comfortable.
350 million. You know, it's insane.
It's a very comfortable country.
Yeah.
But go
It
to
is.
Brazil.
It is comfortable.
Go to Brazil, go to Mexico, go to Egypt, go to Morocco,
Right.
then come back here and complain. You won't be able to, surprisingly.
Yeah.
If you have experience all these other places, you're going to be like, you know what? What is this? Svine says, soy Hulk smash.
Smash!
Smash.
Smash it! Smash that like button. Well, a lot of people like the smash button. A lot of people liked the smash button. I love that. That was
Like
a
the
Freudian
smash
slip,
button?
but I regret nothing. Like that
Smash
smash
it.
button.
like
Spin it.
Pop it.
Overdressed
yeah.
says, guys, I am not here for the cat. I am here for you guys because you are awesome. But 71% of my super chats are cat related. 24-hour cat cam, just an idea. I've talked about this over and over again about what can we do to like get like a room and just fill with guinea pigs and then put live stream cameras up.
All I see is a lot of poop.
Well, yeah, but of course you got to clean the guinea pig room. So when we lived
Not me.
when
I'm
we
good.
lived in Miami,
You
we
can do
had,
it.
we had a rabbit room.
Yeah, 2.
We had 2 rabbits in a whole room.
And they
'cause
eat
we
their
were-
own poop, so we're good.
But that's different. It's not necessarily poop, but they do. A lot of people don't know this, that rabbits, because they're
gross.
herbivores,
Yeah.
they poop out. It's not really poop. It's somewhere. It's like next to their butthole. And
Yeah,
it's-
they got 2.
And then they turn around and eat it. Yeah,
Yum.
that's rabbits.
Good
Dude,
conversation.
people don't realize that rabbits are not good pets.
Nature with TimcastIRL.
Don't get a rabbit. Don't buy your kids rabbits. They are not good pets. They are cute, but they are very, very delicate and hard to take care of. Dogs.
This is getting itchy, man. I think I gotta get rid of it.
Just straight shave it, straight razor.
Straight razor. Oh,
Straight
yeah.
razor.
When it gets annoying, I get rid of it. When my hair gets too long, I chop it down. That's my maintenance.
Are you saying that?
A lot of people have asked, what does he do with his hair?
Are you saying you're gonna chop it off?
No, that one person. one person asked. No. When I get up in the morning and I like can't get up because my hair's like underneath my shoulder, that's annoying.
When it immobilizes you, then you
Yes.
think about cutting it.
Or if it's like cover, I'm like the man with the iron mask, you know,
I
when he
love
takes it
it.
off and it's just hair
Oh my
stuck to him. Yeah,
gosh.
it's annoying.
All right, we got like Fry, who said,
Yes.
Hey, what up?
Tim, when you mention how paramedics wouldn't go in a situation without cops, remember paramedics carry morphine and all sorts of drugs that would sell for a lot on the streets. Adam for president. Spin that UFO and get those little guys dizzy.
Yo, I'm gonna spin it for you, buddy. Like Fry. It's got a really good beanie idea. I have not forgotten.
Oh, cool.
Jean McLeod
It's
says,
very
Tim,
good.
what tea do you drink to soothe your throat? Have you tried fresh ginger, honey, and lemon? I love to drink that to help my throat when I am sick. I don't drink tea.
No?
You're
No.
literally
you gave
drinking
me-
tea right now.
I had like 2 sips of it and it's full right here.
So you drank a little bit.
So I have been
Yeah.
making
One
him-
sip considered it, that's drinking tea.
I
You
don't
drink it.
drink any teas.
It's official. He lied to you. No. That's tea right there. You
If
can't see it.
someone
It's off
wants to
screen.
ask
I
me
can
what
see
teas
it.
do I drink, I would
really
tell
doesn't
you
drink any.
I don't drink tea, but someone just handed me a glass and I had 2 sips.
And you were like, harumph, I say.
I was like, it's hot.
No, you pretty much harumphed.
For soothing my throat. What are those fruit bars called?
So those are the like Shine bars. Like,
Shine
I
bars?
don't know. They're like
Yeah.
they're the green box.
There's like it's like pureed fruit ice cream bars.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fruit.
Good stuff.
Those
I love
things
those.
soothe the throat.
Those are good.
Yeah, it's all fruit. They got mango and strawberry. It's amazing.
Yeah, man. You started getting heated, and I was like, off camera.
Calm
You
down.
couldn't see me, but he was like talking to you guys, and I'm like,
Outshine.
Outshine.
Yeah,
like,
that's what they're called.
whoa, woosah, woosah. I was mentally going woosah to
Yeah,
him.
so the cold
Woosah.
helps his throat more than the hot, which is kind of weird, but
Yeah.
whatever works.
Sean Shriver says Libertarian Joe Jorgensen for President 2020. Will you have her on the cast? 2020. She owns 2020.com. Is that right?
Do you think she would want to come on our show?
I'm sure a lot of people would.
Yeah.
We have all of the viewers.
Yes.
All
the
of
best
them?
viewers, frankly.
Well, listen. I'd love to have a ton of people, but we are in COVID purgatory.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
want to call it a quarantine right now because you can go sit in a tent in a parking lot and eat food.
yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
The restaurants all have tents in their parking lots, and now you can go
Yep.
and it's hey, I
Better than
appreciate it.
nothing. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, can we just move to a red state, man?
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing about it is, I couldn't have imagined myself saying that 5 years ago. Like, why would I do that? That's crazy. I don't live in the city, you know.
Move to a red state.
Yeah. Now they're quarantining everybody, and they're screeching about like COVID apocalypse, and I'm like, elective surgeries are back. Hospitals aren't overloaded. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The mortality rate is 0.25.
Right.
We're in flu range. Nobody's caring anymore, except for the weird journalists who are like, everything's getting worse. And it's like, they're opening.
And now
we
in-
went out and got cheeseburgers the other day.
And now in Oregon, they're like, all white people must continue to wear their masks.
No.
But if you're a minority,
Yep.
that
well,
feels,
it's
then you
one,
don't have to.
It's one specific county.
Oh, that's it? Just
But-
one county?
but- yeah, but they were
I
like-
don't care. They're making these rules.
Yeah.
Could you? What do you think the result of that is going to be?
More racists.
A lot of dead brown people.
Yeah.
Racism.
That's not nice.
They're shoving it down everyone's throat.
The result will be more dead brown people. Telling the white people you must. It's like, could you imagine if they were like, only white people have to wear seatbelts?
Only they should be
it's
safe,
insane.
right?
Yes.
That's such nonsense.
Right. Yeah,
Do they
that's
not
what
see
I
what they're doing.
That's what I don't understand. It's like this weird inverse. It's like they're trying to claim white people need to. This COVID's real. White people, you must wear your masks
stay safe.
because we care about you more.
Yeah, that's so
That's like,
weird.
is that the message you're trying to send?
Yes.
But that's
Yes.
that's ridiculous.
I know, that's not
Either you
right.
want everyone to live and wear masks and be safe, or it's fake. Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what they're saying is that brown
It's
people are
insane.
immune.
Is that? But
They're
What else could
actually
they be-
more at risk.
What are they saying? What are they
Yeah.
saying?
But we like in the early stages,
been
they
told.
they were telling us minorities are at much
Yeah.
higher risk for
Yep.
this.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
still are.
well, if that's
That's
the
been
truth,
consistent.
why aren't you blasting out there? If you're gonna go protest, make sure you wear a mask.
Well,
They're not
to
blasting it
to
out
be
there.
fair, I would say 99% of the protesters do wear masks.
I do see that. Protesters.
Right.
Right.
And now so there was a brief period where I think the LA Times said, like, they had a quote from someone saying the protests caused a spike.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of the press rushed full speed to say, no,
Nope, it wasn't that. That wasn't
nope.
it. Nope.
It wasn't that.
Nope.
I
The-
did see that.
Yeah.
No, because they're outdoors. It's fine.
Yeah, that's perfectly
Fine.
fine.
We got a super chat here. Brian Dixon says, "Hey Tim, Adam, Lydia, love your guys' work.
Hello.
I live in the South Jersey area too, and work in a trade union. I'm seeing Trump's support grow and grow in the union. It may be quiet, but it's there. I
Quiet.
don't buy the polls that say he's losing support.
Yeah, he's gaining support.
I don't think it matters. I think you should operate under the assumption he's losing support.
He's
Don't
gaining,
take it for
he's
granted.
gaining real support.
I'm saying.
He's gaining loyal support. There's a big difference between I'm just going to vote this person this year. I'm going to go vote this person.
What I'm saying is
That's what I'm seeing.
If you make the assumption Trump is winning, you will lose. You need to fight for your life.
Right.
And the same is true for Democrats too. Like, the message is clear when it comes to this election. Whatever you think is happening, if you think you're going to win, you better fight like your life depends on it.
Yep.
How many people, I'll tell you what, they're not going to go out and vote, and they're going to go, oh, but I thought we were going to win. And that's it.
gonna
How many
happen a
people
lot.
thought AOC would surely lose? There's no way she can win. Her first election was a fluke, and then boom.
I don't know. I didn't think that. I thought if she was going up against a Republican, it might be a little different. But
We'll see what happens
I
in
mean,
November.
she's in a blue state, in a blue area, like. But all we see, like, even if I didn't know you, right, and I was just watching the news and just seeing what was going on, I would equate a lot of that was going on to the Democrats making these decisions, letting this run rampant in their cities.
I think what's interesting is when people talk about red pilling,
Mm-hmm.
I brought this up early on when they were like, because in 2014 they were saying Tim Pool's a slow red pill. And I'm like, you got to understand, it's just not corrupting my circles. Okay. When you're complaining about video games and comic books,
Okay.
I don't read comic books. I rarely play these video games you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But then once they got into Magic the Gathering, then I was like, whoa, right? So they say, look, now Tim's getting red pilled. No, it's because the infection is spreading. And so there are a lot of people who don't see it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they get smacked in the face by it. So a good example for you is, we were talking about this the other day. I'm like, it's funny because you were saying before that, like, you weren't aware of what was going on until you came out here, or something to that effect.
Not as much. I didn't pay attention would be more accurate.
And
I
what
was-
would have happened?
I was living in my comfortable bubble
And
because
what-
society, that's what we have.
So what would have happened if you didn't come out here, you're in your bubble, and all of a sudden you got word that orcs and drow were being, retconned, and that Magic was banning a bunch of cards? You'd be like, wait, what? What is it? You'd be forced into it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That you didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Whether you came out here or not, they were coming for you,
Right.
and the infection spread into your world heavily, and you would have been sitting there being like, they just banned all these cards. What's going on?
Yeah, now they're coming for Jesus.
Yep.
Now they're coming after religion. It's like, how far
Wait.
is this going to go?
Wait till the activists start targeting, and I mean like beyond the normal, Blue Lives Matter flags. Like when they start showing up and tearing them down and burning them and throwing bricks through windows.
I mean, how is that any worse than the American flag? It's like the ultimate flag in our country.
Well, because they're not going to random people's homes. Because
Yes, they are.
And tearing down American flags.
Yes.
But it's not
I'm
like,
seeing it.
right, I understand. But I'm saying, like, the people who have Blue Lives Matter flags up are active.
Okay.
Not everybody with an American flag is politically active. They might just be like, who tore down my flag? The people waving Blue Lives Matter flags have done it specifically as a response to Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
So when they get targeted now, they're going to force these people out of their homes and actually into the fight.
Right.
So right now, like I mentioned, there's a lot of people saying, oh, well, I'll vote and it'll be okay. What happens when the left says we're not going to leave you alone and then bring it to the homes of the other politically active faction? I'm not saying it will happen, but
I hear a shotgun going in my head whenever that question arises.
All right, we got a big old super chat here. Banshees says, "Hello, Tim and team. Big fan of your words people need to hear. If possible, please, can I get you guys to watch and discuss the video KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov's warning to America? 13 minutes, 37 seconds. I think it is extremely important right now in our history. Thank you."
The full video is actually about 20 minutes long.
I think it's way longer. It's a full interview he does about his life and stuff.
But there's a specific about when he defects. I just watched this the other day, and it's about him defecting. It's talking about what was happening over in India and the USSR at the time, and the parallels. And have you seen it yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could totally do a segment on it because the parallels are crazy.
Let's do it.
It's mental warfare essentially. It's the new age.
And some people have brought up that the seeds were planted by the Soviet Union, who have long since died.
Yeah.
And now they've grown into fruit-bearing trees of insanity.
Yeah, but the thing is about that is I don't think they predicted or thought about social media. And in a sense, it made the fire burn too bright. You know what I mean? So they're burning themselves out almost because there's so much of us. It's so apparent. We're having conversations like this. A lot of people out there are watching his video. His video is being spread from 1984. It's an old video, but people are watching it. They're like, look at the parallels. Look what's going on. We're talking.
That's the resistance.
We're spreading it around, the information.
They were hoping that these woke lunatics would infect broadcast media and then own the airwaves.
Exactly.
But social media has allowed us a counter voice, and that's why they're trying to censor everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're like, this wasn't supposed to be the way it was. So, I have bad news. It is 10 o'clock. But
Tim needs his voice, everybody.
I do.
Tim needs his voice.
Here's what you got to do.
Smash the like button.
Okay.
Yep, that too.
First things for priorities, priorities.
I was going to say, you can go to timcast.com/donate. At the bottom of the page is a P.O. box. And send things for Adam.
No, well,
with
no.
Adam's name on it.
Well, no. Look, if you're going to send us stuff and you've heard about it through the TimcastIRL, write TimcastIRL, not Timcast, not Tim Pool. Write it for us.
Yeah.
So we know because there's a lot of mail. A lot of times I come in here and there's a big
everything's to me.
A big pile is all open and they're like, oh yeah, you got this one thing, and I'm like, oh cool, and then they're like, there's also like 10 other things that came for TimcastIRL, and I'm like, well, I want to be involved, so. You don't have to send me stuff. I don't. It's not necessarily about.
I was kidding, but
actually, you know what? Feel free to send me stuff.
Send him stuff.
Who am I kidding? You can absolutely send me stuff if you want it. Write my name. It'll come to me through that PO box. But I just say TimcastIRL.
On my main shows, on my two channels, I always mention the PO box, so people always send stuff to me.
Yeah.
But we do mention it periodically here, and people still put my name on it. So we're trying to.
Yeah, we're
going to be setting up a new website. We are going to be, I believe, right now, the plan is to set up with a Locals. For those that aren't familiar, Dave Rubin's project, locals.com. We're going to have separate entities with different, everything. It's going to be really, really awesome. I'm excited for this.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be like a custom website, I guess.
I like that. That's cool.
So it'll be really, really fun.
Nice.
So if you haven't already, you can
smash the like button. That's what you were going to say, right?
You can subscribe.
Oh.
Hit the notification bell.
Any chance I get.
Follow me.
Any chance.
At Timcast on Twitter and Instagram, and Parlay. It's spelled parlor.
With an E.
And you can also follow
Adam Krigler, which is right down here. Crigler is my last name. I'm also on Parler. Parlay. I think it's Parler, and you go there to parlay with other people. And I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. And you can follow me on Twitter. Send me stories. I always have a pinned tweet on my page where you can comment and like stories that are there. And I peruse it pretty much before every show and talk to these two about what we should talk about. Always helps. You guys are wonderful. Although it's almost 600 comments right now, so it's getting.
Oh my gosh.
It's getting really crazy.
Harder and harder
yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna just start splitting them up. Every other day, maybe every day. I don't know. We're gonna see. So it's getting crazy. But
this is why
I really appreciate you all.
So this is why I can't do it, because I have like 500 and something thousand.
Yeah, you got a 500,000.
Yeah. So it's like I got like 1,000 responses on one tweet.
Yeah.
About my voice. I'm like, I can read like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But it's going to get harder and harder for sure. But you can also make sure to follow the other person who's here.
Oh, yeah, here. This is me. And I'm also on Parler, Parler, to parlay.
We also have merchandise, which you can find below the video. We got the Spin It for the UFO. We got the Haram
Spin
Faisal
that
shirt.
UFO.
Are we getting?
I'm gonna go ahead and spin it.
Are we getting an Adam shirt and a Lydia shirt? What's up? With
Yeah. He's probably busy.
Yeah, for sure.
He did send me some ideas. There's a cool graphic of you that he sent us, Lydia. Did you see that one?
I think
you're
I
like
might have seen it
you're
in
holding the
passing.
pen and you're
Yes.
very.
Because I told him I was like, I need a pen in my hand.
You hold the
because I'm
pen in a
always-
certain way.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
I know. Yeah.
So it is cool.
Yeah.
But,
I need to
it's
find
up to you.
him. My inbox got really inundated for a while, so I got to figure it out.
So we will do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
I'm gonna spin the UFO as
So-
our way out.
I talk for 4 hours a day, which means we got to do a hard stop. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. I put up all my videos throughout the day on my other channels, Timcast and Tim Pool, and then we do the live show at 8 p.m. You can catch us again. And we will see you all there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.